But my beats, they are hard.
Hello, welcome to another live episode of the BCSN SportsWrap. It is A.D. Drew, and I'm Brian Fulford, and good to be back on with you after a long week. Man, Drew, what a long week it was. How you doing, man? Good to have you back on the show.
Man, doing all right, man. The most... they talk about Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. July is the most optimistic time of the year.
It's the
for
most
HBCU sports
optimistic time of the year. Yeah, I mean, hey, there it goes. It is. Yeah, man. It is the optimistic time of the year. Yes, indeed. Football media days are happening this upcoming week. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. And you know what's great about this, Brian? Right now, everybody is 0-0. But those 2 zeros mean 2 different things. And I talked about this as I got a chance to close out the game time coverage that we did. Brian, you know what the first 0 represents?
I was there, so yes, but go ahead. So
it represents that optimism that everybody has in July. We got the best team. We got the best quarterback. We did great in the portal. Our coach is the best thing, so sliced bread. All those monikers that you want to throw out there. Then, of course, you got the dash that takes you through the season. And the last 0, Brian, and we know what's going to happen. But as of right now, July 19th, 2026, no one has lost a game yet. You've got some teams going to be facing some uphill battles, but they haven't lost a game.
We are, I think it was yesterday when I tweeted this out, 41 yesterday. Now, that was Saturday, so today would be 40. But yesterday, we were 6 Saturdays away from the start of the football season. Only 6 more Saturdays, Drew, and it'll be go time. There will be no we won't even get a chance to warm up into it. It's like, bam, week 0 happens and we got 20 plus games happening right off the bat, Drew. So, yeah, good stuff. So I want to say hello to everybody who's already logged in. You can be a part of the BCSN chat on our YouTube page, MyJBN Online, or the BCSN SportsWrap YouTube page, our Facebook page, the Black College Sports Network, my BCSN 1, also on X. We are streaming on Instagram Live. Unfortunately, the Instagram Live feed doesn't run into IG Live, but shout out to Reefer Hydro. I love that username, by the way. Jumping in on IG Live. He's excited about Andrew Body, and I'm sure many of us and many of you who are following the SWAC, and you guys are excited, as Drew said. And the CIAA, we will talk about the CIAA because, I had Chris Ferguson on the show last week Drew, while you were out, and Chris did a great job of breaking it down.
And I watched you guys show
Okay, yeah,
on the
thanks.
replay.
Yeah, and we'll go through and talk about the CIAA and shortly, and kind of give you guys a recap because I feel like so much of our eyes and attention were focused on the SWAC. This week we've got the MEAC and the SIAC. And so coming up in the second hour, we're going to have the guys from the SIAC sit down. Good friends of the show, Jamie Walker, Sylvester Williams, or Sylvester Williams and Jamie Walker. They're co-hosts. So
Slider Sports Guy. Don't nobody know that man government name.
Okay. Oh, okay. My bad. Slider Sports Guy. Okay. There you go. If you've never caught the SIAC sit down, those guys do a great job of covering the SIAC. Have really found a calling in terms of getting coaches, administrators, even the conference commissioner to come into their studio and sit down with them and talk. So good stuff. Yeah, great questions being asked there, Jimmy. Great questions. Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know as well. Kelvin Carter's in the chat. Of course, Kelvin was there with us. Good to see him, and good to see so many fellow media members there. Good to see so many media members. But before we get going into the HBCU stuff, Drew, we finally have a champion. We finally have the World Cup champion, the best soccer club country team, finally finished after nearly 3 hours. 3 hours of television time, right? We finally know Spain defeats Argentina 1-0 in extra time. That's overtime, in case you didn't know soccer rules. And it goes down as another shutout, Drew. Did you know that of the 8 matches that Spain played, 7 of them were shutouts?
Wow.
7 of 8 were shutouts, and they only gave up 1 goal in the entire tournament. 1 goal. That's defense wins. What they always say, defense
wins championships.
I guess so. That applies to football as well, or soccer as we call it here. I guess it applies. So unfortunately for those of us, we saw all the legends kind of bow out. I think it was the end of Ronaldo, the end of Neymar, probably the end of Harry Kane, the end of probably Lukaku. Who else? Messi. I don't know. I mean, all the names that have been sort of the big names over the last 10 years probably played in their last World Cup here in America. So hope you enjoyed it. But anyway, tough break for Messi. But anyway. That means now, Drew, that, in all the years of the FIFA World Cup, one more stat of the day for you. There have only been 8 countries to win the World Cup. 7 of them have won more than one. Pop quiz. Do you know the only country that's one of the 8 that has never won a multiple World Cup?
England.
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. Good job, Drew. Good job. Do you know any chance you know what year it was last time England won?
It was in the 50s.
Not quite that far.
Like I'm too late.
No, you're
Early?
well, I guess it was after the 50s. The next
Okay, that's
decade.
what I'm saying. So it would have to be in the 60s then, because I
Yeah,
know it was before I was born.
Yeah, actually 66, which means this was the 60th anniversary year. And they almost had it. They were almost back. They were almost back in the finals against Spain, but their manager got, I don't know, he tried to run the Carolina Four Corners offense with about 30 minutes to go, and it cost him. It cost him. It's like playing. I heard someone use an analogy and said it's like playing in the fourth quarter, being up by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, going up against Tom Brady, and you're just running the ball at the start of the fourth quarter. 3 and out, and just rolling the dice.
Atlanta Falcons.
Well, they call themselves still playing. They said they were still playing, so yeah. So all right, well, so that was there. That was that. So here we go. Let's get into it. Now, controversially, I'm going to say controversially already. As we recap the past week, a lot of stuff was going on the past week. But Drew says to me, "Hey B, let's start with what happened on Monday." And I'm looking at Drew like, "Man, everything is a blur. What the hell happened on Monday?" All I was focused in on was getting safely to Birmingham all day. On what day is that I drove up there? Tuesday.
I don't know what day you got there. I saw you Tuesday.
Yeah, I was trying to drive there all day Tuesday for, and then preparing stuff. But Drew said, let's talk about what happened on Monday. And I'm sitting there thinking, what happened on Monday? Well, hold on. Let me see if anybody in the chat knows. Does anybody in the chat know what happened on Monday? In the HBCU sporting diaspora, can anyone name what happened on Monday? You give it about 5 seconds here.
And while they figuring that out, Brian, which of us had the tougher road to get to Birmingham? B jumping off a plane from Vegas and at 6 o'clock in the morning and driving to Birmingham that same day, or you driving up from Orlando on the same day?
Well, wait a minute. You did what on Monday? You did what?
I jumped off a plane at 6 a.m., went home, took a shower, switched suitcases.
Oh, from Atlanta and then drove.
And then drove from Atlanta to Birmingham.
Oh, I think I had the tougher road trip, Drew. I had to drive 8
taking
hours.
Taking that red eye, man.
You can sleep. You can sleep on a red eye, Drew. I've been on a red eye from Vegas to
sleep on a plane.
Huh?
You sleep on that plane that I was on. Leaving at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Were you in the middle seat? Were you in the middle seat?
Oh no, I was smarter than that.
Oh, okay, well then
I call myself being smart. I got that. I got the extra leg room and everything else. There was one thing that I did not do that I should have done, Brian.
Exactly. Look,
normally
us folk who had to drive from Central Florida to Birmingham ain't trying to hear about you on a red eye flight and then landing nicely in Atlanta and then having to drive 2 hours west. We ain't trying to hear it, Drew.
But normally when I plan on sleeping on the plane, I get a window seat. No, I got an aisle seat.
G Boom, man. I don't know how far is Cypress to Birmingham.
That's in the Houston area.
Yeah, I mean, it took us. I know Troy probably took him 7 hours. It took me about 7.
Carlos came from Baton Rouge.
Steve might have us beat from coming across the country from Winston-Salem to Birmingham. What's that? Is that I-20 all the way?
20. Yeah, pretty much.
That can be a long ride just on 20 alone.
Rolled out of St. Louis.
Yeah. Okay. So see, Drew, we all had it beat. We were in the car, Drew. You're in a plane. We ain't trying to hear. Anyway, I didn't see anybody guess what happened on Monday. Now, Fat Mouth said Texas Southern. You know what? I would agree.
Was that Monday?
I think so. I think so. The info on I don't know. I just saw something. I saw the article by Kyle Mosley. But anyway, I'm gonna, because Drew brought this up. This is Drew here. Has anybody ever heard? Okay, I don't want to do that. Okay, so anyway,
I was out of town, and I scheduled my flight. I had to schedule my flight to get back so that I could get to Birmingham.
I didn't even see this covered on HBCU Game Day, Drew. This is how obscure this is, but I'm gonna digress. I'm gonna see
That's because
while the
not
editor of HBCU Game Day is in the chat, I'm gonna see if he covered this event. I don't think it was even on. I don't even think it was on their site. Okay, so this is how obscure it is, but just because of Drew. The Natural State Kickoff Classic between UAPB and Morehouse is going to kick off the college football season in Arkansas. That was the press conference that occurred on Monday. Yes, you heard it right. The Morehouse Maroon Tigers are taking on the UAPB Golden Lions. Is that week 0, Drew, on Saturday, August 29th? Another game. All right. Any details? Is this the first time meeting between Morehouse and UAPB?
This is the third all-time meeting, and UAPB leads the series 2-1. And
when was the last time they played?
Morehouse has the last victory in this series, which was in 2018.
Okay.
they bet 3 times between 2015 and 2018.
Huh. Okay. All right. Any other nuggets you want to share about that game, Drew?
No. Obviously, tickets and everything are on sale for that.
Where in Arkansas is that game going to be played?
It's going to be held at Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium.
Okay, so that is not the home of the Golden Tigers, who play in Pine Bluff. But who plays in that stadium in Little Rock?
I don't know. Does Little Rock have a team? Arkansas Little Rock.
They may
play
have
football.
Look, see, you're supposed to know this. You're asking me.
I
don't know.
I don't know either.
All right. Anyway, okay. Well, yeah. That what did it say? That is 0.5.
Yeah.
0.5 on the Richter scale. All right, that's pretty good. That kind of coincides along with some other stuff, some other pre-games, other press conference announcements. I know Tuesday you had the announcement or the press conference for the SWAC Classic between Alabama State and Southern. That took place on Tuesday. They're at the stadium there at UAB. Then on Thursday, of course, we had the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff presented by Toyota between Howard and Alabama A&M. That was pretty good. Howard alumni did a good job of showing up for that. They did a good job showing up for that one.
Yes.
You could have caught that streaming on the BCSN as well as the MEAC SWAC Challenge on Instagram. I know it was on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, it was also streaming on Twitter. We ran it on Twitter. So hopefully you got a chance. The Birmingham Classic. Thank you, Kelvin. That's the name of it. What I call it, the SWAC Classic. The Birmingham Classic. You know, one of the things that was discussed regarding the Birmingham Classic, will that be an event that we'll see varying SWAC schools, you know, so on and so forth. You know, what kind of scheduling will we see in the future?
I think that could be an event where we see various SWAC schools because of the fact that as the schedule rotates, there's always one game that rotates off of the schedule. And if they could get that scheduled in Birmingham, get that game scheduled in Birmingham every year, I think it could be something. There's one game that's a rival game that just happens to rotate off in the East-West crossover.
Right. And again, this is the Birmingham Classic that is probably about 2 or 3 years in the making. Remember, this was supposed to happen.
It's supposed to be Jackson State Southern originally.
A couple years ago.
Right, but they wound up moving that game on campus.
Right.
For the 2 years that game rotated off the schedule, everybody.
Right. Yeah. That game got so anyway. Stop on the out of conference games. I disagree with you on that, G Boom.
I'd rather play that than go play Ohio State or Michigan State or Georgia. Pun intended.
Well, we are a good brand, we're a good sell, and I think this non-conference conference game is good from the simple fact that you usually will get a good matchup that, who knows, it could end up being, even though it doesn't quote unquote count on the schedule, it could end up being the kind of game that you might see a rematch of. It could be the kind of game that people use as a comparison of, one team versus the next, or how did you play? Just think about Southern and Alabama State and just think about their trajectory during the course of the year, right? I think a lot of people will. Well, we already know one school is a preseason favorite. The other school, we really don't know yet, but I think there are some people who are optimistic about what Southern can do. So
let's talk about this comment.
That's interesting.
Should it always include Alabama State or Alabama A&M?
I will say if you always want to guarantee 15 to 20, yes. I think so. Because those are two bought-in fan bases. Now, I don't know who's the next SWAC closest school to Birmingham.
Jackson.
Okay.
Jackson State would be geographically. Jackson State's probably 3 hours from Birmingham.
But how far? And how far is Huntsville? Is how far away?
Let's see. Montgomery is maybe 90 to stadium, 75 to 90 minutes. Huntsville's probably 145.
Mm-hmm. But I think by the simple fact that you're going to have Alabama A&M and Alabama State alumni in Birmingham. So
got a lot of Jackson alumni in Birmingham too.
Okay. So I would always say you're trying to fill one of those two schools and then maybe a Jackson State. But what that means, though, Drew, is you're always probably going to have a Western Division opponent.
Yeah, well, I think that's how it's assigned. It's going to be an East-West crossover. It has to be. If I'm a Western team, I'm not moving my home game to Birmingham. Same thing if I'm an East team. If it's EV East in a division game, and it needs to be I would think it would need to be a non-conference matchup. One of those games that does not count, you're going to get more buy-in. But let's look at a couple other options with that, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
When Southern and Jackson State roll off again, does that game get moved to Birmingham?
Ooh.
Because remember, that's how it was. That was the original plan.
That was the original plan.
Till I believe, who was it? Jackson got sued by the Southern Heritage Classic.
Yes.
I think that's what was the hold up with that one. How about how about this one? How about A&M and a non-SWAC opponent, Tennessee State?
Yeah, there you go. I think that would do well.
Yeah, because straight down I-65.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a close enough opponent.
Yeah.
So you do have a lot of options. I don't know.
Does Alcorn?
I don't know. We got Kelvin Carter in the room. Do Alcorn want to come?
Alcorn, and who would they play from the East? FAMU, Alcorn.
Yeah, I think you could get a FAMU to come up.
Alabama State Alcorn.
Okay. I mean, show me TSU. I'm assuming that's Tennessee State
in this case.
Yeah, I think you give me. There's a lot of options, Drew. There are. Now, I have not heard what are the, because everyone likes to talk about finances. What are the incentives that the schools get for this game? Have you heard? Because I missed that. What are the
Brian? Of course, they don't mention those things in these press conferences. I know that the city of Birmingham is taking care of a lot of the costs for this particular game, and if you're Alabama State or maybe in the future Alabama A&M, you get to play in Birmingham twice. You're home away from home at Legion Field. One thing I found that was unique is Alabama State.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This game is not played at Legion Field.
This game is played at Legion Field. The home
Birmingham
of the Magic City Classic is played at Legion Field.
I thought the Birmingham Classic was played right there on UAB's stadium.
It is at Legion Field, which is also the home of the Magic City Classic.
Okay,
and for the city
I did not know that.
And for the city of Birmingham, because this is an underutilized facility now with Progressive Field there, this is an opportunity to get more events in Legion Field to justify the cost of having to just keep that facility operational. Because right now, Brian, that facility is only operational for one game, really. And that is because the Magic City Classic draws more people than Progressive Field can handle, plus the fact that Legion Field has one of the best tailgate atmospheres that you will find on an off-campus facility.
All right, so
and Alabama State gets to keep their sideline also. I thought that was something that was interesting.
What do you mean they get to keep their sideline?
Alabama State and Alabama A&M do not alternate sidelines in the Magic City Classic. Despite the fact that they alternate home and away and dark and light jerseys, they do not alternate sidelines.
Little known thing that I didn't know. Okay. All right, and for the MEAC SWAC Challenge again, Alabama A&M and Howard playing in Center Park Stadium. That game on ABC, 7:30 p.m. Oh, the start, mention that. The start time of the Birmingham Classic is what time?
2 p.m. Central Time.
So that's 3 Eastern. So no direct conflict with the MEAC SWAC Challenge, which will be at 7:30 Eastern.
6:30 Central.
6:30 Central. So that is pretty good that you get a 7:30 kickoff. I don't think there'll be very many other conflicts.
There are multiple direct conflicts.
Well, not on ABC or ESPN.
No.
That maybe, yeah. Okay,
no.
So there you go.
No.
There you go.
There are not. But Brian, we're going to talk about the MEAC SWAC, the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff presented by Toyota. But let's back up. Let's talk about the announcement that came out during the middle of SWAC Media Day.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Because, let me finish with the MEAC SWAC Challenge. I was just looking at future matchups. And this is sort of a bridge towards where you're going to go, right? That announcement.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the announcement pulled up. Let me finish with this bridge about the future matchups. So in 2027, the expected, now don't get me on the date here, but I believe the future matchup in 2027 is between Morgan State and Alabama State. Are you at liberty to confirm or deny that, Drew, from what I'm seeing here?
It's published on the website. So
thank you. Okay, it is on the website. Well, how about this one? Because this was mentioned that I was at our lunch table with John Grant. I don't know if this is on the website. Is the
27 is as far as the website
okay
has listed right now.
Okay, so 2028, it is expected. This is not official, but it's expected. Did you just go off the air? Is that what you just did? Is that why you did that?
Just in case you butcher this, ain't nobody gonna put it back on me. And if you get it right, I didn't leak this.
Look, okay. The internet tells me that the expected matchup in 2028 is Jackson State from the SWAC and Norfolk State from the MEAC. That is what that's what the internet says 2028 will look like. So I don't know. Any of you, I know we got some Jackson State folks in there, Cedric Walker, Israel Carey. Have you all started hearing anything about that? I kind of got the impression that Jackson State is one of the schools that is being discussed for 2028. But whose internet? Well, it's the internet. It's not the it's not the NNN. So anyway, but okay, Lennon Blow. Okay, Lennon Blow says he of Norfolk State says it's been confirmed on their end. So they're looking forward to a 2028 reappearance. Of course, that's Mike Vick. I've heard talk of it. Thank you, Israel. Okay, so the internet, even though it's not official, the internet talks, the barbershop, the streets talk, so okay. Yes, that very well could be. Cedric said based off Coach Vick keeping his job. Well, that would be let me see, for Mike Vick, that would be year 3. Nope, this is year 2, 3. That would be year 4.
Yeah, that would be year 4.
That'd be year 4 for Mike Vick. So, oh, come on, Karen. I'm not always messy. I'm just okay. The reason I brought out the reason I went there is because Drew was going to share the other big news that came out during the SWAC Media Day regarding, I'm assuming you're going to talk about the ESPN and the MEAC or the SWAC relationship, correct?
Yes.
All right. What do we got? Go ahead.
Let me pull it up. I thought I had it pulled up.
Why would JSU give up that home game? Is a question. Well, I mean,
it's not a home game.
It's not a home game. Week 0. And actually, it's outside of the, again, this year, Jackson State is playing Tennessee State. Next year, presumably, Tennessee State will come to Jackson State, right?
Right. But that does not necessarily mean it's a week 0.
It doesn't. But if we were comparing and contrast, a lot of people are kind of, anyway.
Oh, I got.
And Jackson State did draw very well. They drew very well in Atlanta when they played a couple years ago, and Norfolk State showed themselves very well. They showed themselves very well. All right, did we find it yet, Drew? Come on now.
No, I have not found it.
All right, we can come back to it. Because that'll give me an opportunity to jump ship.
It's on my other Mac, and then I'm not on.
Oh Lord, hold on. Let me. Okay, so see now, since I'm sitting here on game day, let me see if I can find the article on game day. Since you don't seem to have it.
Here we go.
Up. You got it? Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
ESPN and the Southwestern Athletic Conference have reached a multi-year media rights agreement that will bring conference football and basketball competition to ESPN networks through the 2030 and 2031 academic year. The global rights agreement includes championship and regular season coverage across ESPN's linear and digital networks. Under the agreement, ESPN will annually present 10 regular season football games on ESPN networks and ESPN Plus, the SWAC championship football game on ABC, ESPN, or ESPN2, SWAC men's basketball tournament championship on a linear ESPN network, the SWAC women's basketball championship on a linear ESPN network, all other rounds and men's basketball tournaments on ESPN digital networks, four regular season men's basketball games on ESPN or ESPN Plus. Separately, ESPN events and the SWAC have extended the conference participation in the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff presented by Toyota and the Cricket Celebration Bowl presented by Toyota through 2032. The 6 year renewal ensures the continuation of two marquee events that serve as annual celebrations of HBCU football in Atlanta. So, here's the summary: ESPN SWAC through 31, ESPN and SWAC and the Celebration Bowl and the Challenge through 2032. So one more year on the championship versus the direct contract with the conference. And you
Okay.
will not know the revenue numbers, Fat Mouth. No conference puts it out. Things may get leaked, things may get assumed through other media outlets and everything, but you will not get a number from the network. You will not get a number from the institutions or the conference. That's why there's always one word in front of whenever we talk numbers, Brian. That word is reportedly.
Hmm.
I'll just say this: the SWAC's media rights deal is more than any other FCS conference, number one. And the SWAC's media rights deal is more than a lot of the lower tier FBS conferences.
Yeah, it's the premiere. Now there's supposed to be some additional news or information that's going to come out this week at the MEAC. You know, the MEAC Media Day regarding their relationship. I'm assuming their relationship with ESPN. You know, could it mean an increase in their coverage of games? Could their model look more like some other conferences that you see? You know, there are some mid-major conferences that are, you know, they host a lot, they run a lot of games on the ESPN Plus platform. Maybe that's what the MEAC is about to do. They still right now are the only conference that doesn't have their own quote unquote network. You know, so who knows?
Research, Edwin, research. The numbers are out there, but you have to do your own research.
Yeah, I mean they do get published in some form of fashion. A lot of times you have to look in the
990s of
the 990s,
institutions.
the reports.
Yes, 990 of the conference, things like
It's,
that, and you can speculate on the numbers.
yeah, so essentially it'll take you a year after almost towards the end of a year, so to try to figure out what those numbers are.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's always fascinating how much and again, the only reason we know about the other numbers is because there are media sources who are publishing it. They get a hold of it somehow, or somehow it gets shared with them.
Yes.
And they share it. Now, I will tell you, that is not hard to do in our space. You just have to know the right administrators or administrator at whatever school to be able to get that information, to be able to share it. So
why is the SWAC's rights media deal better than the CAA media's rights deal? Because I don't have to play. For me, I don't know if but for the consumer doesn't have to play Flow Sports, pay Flow Sports to watch SWAC content, and the reason that the SWAC is able to do a lot of things because they're drawn to advertising that the CAA is not.
Okay, Drew.
So eat those words, A&T Roy.
Well, I think I have heard, and A&T Roy may add into this. I have heard that the dollar value that North Carolina A&T has received is pretty good. And it's afforded them to do certain things. So there you go. Other news.
What I was talking about A&T was the total media rights deal for the SWAC. That includes ESPN, HBCU Go, and SWAC TV.
I will say this to everybody about SWAC TV, ESPN Plus. We're still missing. Damn, you're gonna make me go here. You're still missing the biggest inventory that you have. And what I'm talking about is, while we are so like this with football is only
once a week.
12 times 12 is 144 games. Are we with me here? And everybody's not playing 12, so we really don't have 144.
Because some teams are playing only 11.
11, okay? You know, we know some schools that are only playing 11. So we're not even talking a full 144. But the biggest inventory that's being missed is in volleyball, men and women's basketball, baseball, softball,
soccer.
Hold on. I'm trying to think where everybody is. I want to go where all 12 schools are.
You got 10 of your 12 who play soccer.
I want to go all 12 schools.
Okay.
All 12 schools. All right. Those are the 5 sports: volleyball, men, women basketball, baseball, softball. Those 5.
Correct.
Those are the 5. And they're playing
two games a week minimum.
Three times more than the number of football games. Like if football is 144, times that by 4. That's why when you saw Commissioner McClellan talk about 1,000 events, 1,000 events. Football is only 10% of that.
Well, Brian, it's not even that, because you're going too high with that 144. SWAC doesn't control the inventory of that whole 144 because you've got to take out those road games in which they do not. So let's cut that in half.
I got it.
You're probably talking 60 to 70 events.
I was just speaking of SWAC properties, like the SWAC events. Like you got SWAC events that'll be running on HBCU Go, SWAC events that'll be running on ESPN Plus, and then the rest will be on SWAC TV, presumably, right?
Yes.
So I mean, and HBCU Go is only showing 13 games, and ESPN's only showing 10 games.
Let's talk about that, Brian, because we got about 7 minutes before we get to the top of the hour when I guess we'll be on. But let's talk about that. I think people are missing a boat on that, Brian. The fact that there's a reduction in the amount of games that ESPN is showing. There's a reduction in the amount of games that HBCU Go is showing. Now let's back up to June, Brian, when Dr. McClellan announced the partnership with the venture capitalists, with the sports media venture capitalists.
Mm-hmm.
So SWAC has put themselves in a position, probably faster than they even anticipated, where they can afford to back off having to quote unquote sell out their inventory to ESPN, to HBCU Go, and to retain their media rights and be able to generate that advertising, which means they are cutting out the middleman. And anybody who knows anything about business, when you could cut out the middleman, that's a better relationship with your end consumer and the person who's putting out the product. SWAC will be able to retain more of their advertising dollars with the model that they are using. It's only 24 games going out all season.
Mm-hmm.
So ESPN gets the first game, Go gets the second game. After that, on a normal SWAC week, that's at least 4 games per week that the SWAC gets to keep on SWAC TV. And now, if they're getting smarter with their scheduling model, and what I mean by scheduling model, the kickoff times, where you don't have games, every game starting at 2 o'clock Central, Brian.
Right.
Now you could actually have games streaming 10 to 12 hours if done right, Brian, which once again increases your advertising dollars.
Yeah.
Because you've got a chance to get more eyeballs. Because if everybody's watching the game that starts at 3 o'clock Eastern, you're cutting your potential eyeballs in half or in thirds. But if I've got a 12 o'clock, a 3:30, and a 7:30, I've got 3 time slots I can work with. Same thing the big boys do. Same thing they do on ESPN. Same thing they do on CBS. Same thing they do on Fox. Only thing we don't have is that 11 o'clock time slot, Brian, where we've got that West Coast game. But we can get those other 3 time slots with our teams, and then you have one game of overlap that you have to figure out. But I still don't start that at the same time as one of those time slots. I have it where I'm starting it so it overlaps a little bit. But that's game 4. Your top game is gonna be either that 3:30 or that 7:30 time slot, depending on what the metrics say that you have the most viewers. That's where you put your top game. And the early game becomes your least favorite game, and then you slide that other one in there.
Yeah. I look for we'll have to do the TV matrix and kind of see if the creative scheduling was done like you mentioned.
Yeah. And Kel brings up a point, obviously it's going to be a little bit, those first couple weeks, nobody wants a 1 o'clock time start.
Yeah.
The first 3 weeks of September.
Look, the biggest things that SWAC TV has to do is we got to get an updated version. 2.0 needs to roll out.
Yeah.
2.0 needs to roll out that has the actual multi-view settings. All right. SWAC TV you can go back and watch them on demand. Yeah. So you can go back. It's on demand. So yes, you can go back and watch SWAC games. And also, one of the things that we talked about, I appreciate Troy, Fat Mouth Sports, for talking about this. The platform has to go through some more work with Roku, which apparently is I watch on Apple TV or not Apple TV, but Fire TV. So I didn't even know some of the issues on Roku existed, but apparently that's a software issue. So again, there's 2 different things to SWAC TV. There's the technology, the app itself, and then there's the production that goes into the app. 2 different things. Yes. The production that goes into the app,
getting it to the app.
Yeah, you're right. That goes into the broadcast feed. That's your schools or your third party licensed vendors that the schools use to produce the broadcast. That's on them. And then the other part is what the SWAC is working on. But still, the numbers are huge. I mean, Commissioner McClellan said the numbers were in the minutes and hours were
60 million, over
60
million.
million. Yeah.
Now, I want to keep an eye on this, and we can talk about this later. What Steve has brought up, Winston-Salem with talking about start times has 2 8:00 start games, 8:00 Eastern time starts. I want to keep an eye on this and see. Yes, I don't know which games they are. Steve, if you could put in there which games those are.
Interesting.
Who the opponents are, but I want to keep an eye on this to see, what kind of attendance and what kind of ratings those get on the CIAA network.
Yeah.
And I agree with you that also makes a broadcast. They hire real talent. These are the same people who have done games on the ESPN platform who also do games on SWAC TV.
Yeah, they do. I saw one other nugget that happened this past week that I wanted to quickly mention before we go to the break and get ready for our guest. Because I don't know if you guys knew, obviously last week was the CIAA and the SWAC, and we'll talk about that coming up. Obviously this week is the SIAC and the MEAC. But also last week was the Ohio Valley and Tennessee State. And I did see that.
That's the other who?
Yeah, exactly.
You talked about the Morehouse, Arkansas Pine Bluff who? That's the other who.
Yeah, that's a great bookend for this hour. The Tennessee State was picked to finish last in the OVC. I'm trying to. Where did I see this article at? I think I saw this on sports on HBCU Sports.com. I lost my page where I had it at. But that wasn't even the bigger news that Tennessee State dropped. Again, this is still the institution where 6 head coaches of major programs submitted a letter at the end of May to the president of the university saying that their boss, that they had no confidence in their boss. I have no confidence. Look, hold on, I almost caught myself.
I'm just here for my paycheck.
I am. I was going to say something that was going to get me in trouble. Can you imagine submitting that letter to your boss's boss that you don't have any confidence in your boss? That's a flex. But anyway, nobody's really talking about that, or at least out here in these large spaces that we're in. They should be, but they're not. But anyway, so I don't know if that was talked about at SWAC, at the OVC Media Day. But what was talked about was Tennessee State switching from Under Armour to Nike. And I just have one question for you, Drew. When you switch from Under Armour to Nike, does that give you more confidence in your administration? Just do it. Rhetorical question. Don't feel free to answer. Let's get ready to take that break. Let's take that break. And now that was messy. For those of you who thought I'm messy, that I admit that was messy. That purely was messy. That's all me. Karen Griffin, you got me on that one. That was nothing but messy. All right, let's take our first break. Slotted Sports Guy, Jamie Walker, the co-host of the SIAC Sit Down, will chop it up with me and Drew about the SIAC and their football media day, which is happening on Wednesday. What day is that? July 22nd. Is it still in Macon, Drew?
Yes, it's in Macon,
Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia. All right, so we're going to come back with the fellas of the SIAC sit down right after these messages. You're watching the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. you're wearing purpose. HBCU
Have you ever told yourself, I want to get into real estate but don't know where to start? Here's something just for you. From Friday, July 31st to Sunday, August 2nd, the Learn Real Estate Fast Masterclass is coming to McKenzie Office Park in College Park. You'll learn wholesaling, commercial investing, and how to purchase property with zero money or credit. I can tell you, education and access are everything. This masterclass is designed to give you both. Whether you're brand new or ready to level up, this is where you start making real moves. Enjoy free lunch, free study materials, and receive a certification of completion. So don't wait. Seats are filling fast. Do not sit on the sidelines while others build wealth. Take that first step toward ownership and legacy. Get your tickets now at learnrealestatefast.com or tickpick.com. For more information, call 678-859-3303. Master the market, build your legacy, secure your future today.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Introducing the HBCU Trivia Game. It's more than a board game. It's a journey to the legacy of historically black colleges and universities. Here's how it works. 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, start as freshmen and roll the dice to advance. But here's the twist. You can only move forward by answering trivia questions about HBCU. Test your knowledge of notable alumni, key historical events, sports milestones, and fun HBCU facts. Watch out for spaces that can propel you ahead or set you back. And if you get a question wrong, you stay put until your next turn. The first to reach graduation wins. The HBCU Trivia Game. Support, educate, entertain. Available now. Let the journey begin.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL on August 29th with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota, representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard, Bulldogs, Bison, the Marching Maroon and White, the Showtime Marching Band, the premier FCS matchup in primetime with a kickoff trophy up for grabs. Join us pre-game for band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap right here on the Black College Sports Network, and it's a pleasure to be joined with friends of the show, friends in these spaces, none other than the co-host of the SIAC Sit Down Slide of Sports guy, Doctor. You're a doctor. You're a doctor.
You want me to share? I'll share my degree with you. Where I'll share my degree for you. Oh, you can go ahead.
PhD?
Yeah, PhD.
Player hating degree?
Oh, come on, man. Don't do me like that.
Habitual line stepper degree.
What you mean habitual line stepper, man? My brother worked hard, man. I worked hard just like Chanel Bryant, man. Me and Chanel went to the same place. I thought I can't share it on y'all's show. My bad. Oh, wait a minute. Me and Chanel went to the same place, man. I just ruined a really good bit.
Hold on, is this what you're talking about right here?
There you go, right there, man.
Oh my God, this guy.
Doctor. Me and Chanel went to the same place, brother. Same place.
You're too much, like you're too much. And also his co-host, who has to sit through. I feel your pain, Jamie Walker. Sometimes.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold up, man. Watch your mouth now.
Jamie Walker, Slider Sports Guy. Good to have you guys on. You guys are a mess. What's good, fellas? If you guys are not familiar with the SIAC sit down, these guys, when did you guys start? You guys started this, at the beginning of 26? Sometime in the winter?
No, we actually did 2024. We did a preseason show. We did a preseason show on our HBCU game day. We did a preseason show, and then we sat out all the way to the end of the year, and that's when Benedict was on their last run. And then we did a postseason, end of the regular season show, championship preview for Benedict, and then we came back the next week and did a first round of the playoff show, and the people wanted it. The people wanted it, so we decided to come back the next year, 25, and jumped head first into it, and did the whole year.
Okay. So if you're not familiar, the SIAC sit down appears on the HBCU Game Day Network. You can find it on the HBCU Game Day YouTube feed. They have their own podcast channel on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Also, you can follow the Instagram feed at SIAC Sit Down on Instagram. And what I was telling Drew, what I really like is that coaches, and I don't know, maybe it's just as the course of the year has gone, but there's a real buy-in from the administrators. The commissioner of the conference has been on a couple of times, from head coaches. I mean, most recently, if you've been paying attention, you've had some of the coaches. Let me see. I know I saw the Cedric Pearl. You've had Coach Felton Huggins. You've had who were some of the other coaches that you recently had on?
Well, we've had on we've had the new coach at Savannah State, my guy, Thomas Howard. He started it off. We had Felton Huggins, Coach Pearl from Allen. We did Coach Connor from Lane.
Yep.
And we released Coach Good from Miles. We've actually sat down with every coach so far. We sat down with every coach, and we're releasing them once a week, during the summer, so everybody can get their football feel. We will get Tuskegee.
We will get Anthony James on. We know the Tuskegee Nation is anticipating this.
So we just keeping them. We surprising you every Wednesday. Every Wednesday we throwing a coach out there, and you get to it's real fun, man, to sit down and talk to some of these coaches, because we all have relationship with these coaches for years now. But to actually get them on camera, seeing which one is going to tell all the truth or which one go hesitate a little bit on the truth. So we enjoy it.
And I know this sort of outside of you and Jamie. What helps is both of you guys being based in Atlanta. It helps. The studio where you shoot is the Game Day Studios in Atlanta. That helps. But I think it also is sort of a carryover. Like, Jamie, you're calling games. You called games for the SIAC for how many years now, Jamie?
Oh, man. 7 for the SIAC specifically. For 2 networks. So, yeah, I've been locked in.
And, of course, Sly, he's calling games a lot for the SIAC. And then you had the coaches show with Teddy Keaton right there in Atlanta. So,
and Sly's also the color voice for basketball for Morehouse basketball also.
Yep. So, I mean, you guys have and it's a testament to the work that you guys have done, but also it's great to see that there's finally, I don't say finally, but it's good to see that there's an appreciation from the conference, the coaches, the community of the SIAC that recognizes the work that you guys do in bringing, professionalism to the job, right? You guys call a great game. Anybody that's listened to a game that Jamie has done or Sly has done, you've gotten a great game, and there's great interaction during the game. So I mean, this is not a surprise that this thing is taken off the way it has.
Man, we try, Brian. And first of all, thank you for that, man. I mean, listen, you do a tremendous job as well calling games. We've done stuff together, and we all love that craft in general. We even had, if you go back to an earlier episode, we had the announcer show with Dwayne Walker and Charles Ward as well. So go back and look at some of the early episodes as well. But we have an appreciation for announcers, clearly. But also, I mean, I think being close to the conference and calling games is really one of the cornerstones of what we've been able to do, because we have an affinity for the conference. Neither one of us went to an SIAC school, even though I would say Sly has more of a historical context towards it being a Columbia, South Carolina native, and me being a graduate of North Carolina A&T. Shout out Troy, shout out Jeff Roberts. I see you in the chat. Being in Atlanta for as long as I've been, which is 25 years now. I just grown an affinity for the SIAC, and they've offered opportunities that a lot of other people won't. And so I have an appreciation for it. And so talking about the SIAC and its ins and outs, especially in football, just feels natural to me and Sly, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I'm waiting on that the SID show, fellas.
It's coming up.
Nobody wants to hear from that.
We got to get some content.
Hey, without the SIDs, they wouldn't have any content.
It doesn't matter. No one wants to. We want to read your content, and we want to see the people that you put in for. No one wants to hear from y'all. Sorry. We love the SIDs. We love the SIDs. We're going to
bring in the best SIDs. We're going to bring in who we going to bring in? Dennis from Benedict, and I guess that's about it.
But the SIDs should be heard and not seen. That's anyway. But no, we appreciate. Look, yes, without the SIDs, yes, all of these great, wonderful. Shout out to all the SIDs out there. Some of the hardest working people in HBCU.
Listen, if you
athletics.
know,
you know. Exactly. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Again, hold on. Drew took it down. All right. Well, I put it up there, Drew. Anyway, if you're on YouTube and IG at SIAC Sit Down is where you can find it. There you go. Thank you, Drew. Okay. Just in case anyone didn't know. And that's every Wednesday. You can look for the recent shows. And then when the season gets going, similar Wednesday schedules or?
Yeah, we're part of D2 Wednesdays. We're part of D2 Wednesdays. And what the HBCU Game Day platform has decided to do, Steven and Ferg, they had a show originally. They had a D2 show, and they were talking SIAC and CIAA ball. But Steven's a CIAA guy.
He an SIAC hater.
And we felt like it was a little bit of hateration going on for the SIAC. So we jumped in with this SIAC, and Steven has graciously allowed us on this platform
absolutely
to talk some SIAC ball. And so on D2 Wednesdays we'll have Steven elite. They'll lead. No, we lead off, and then Steven comes in, or the other way around. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
But we do have a surprise though. We have a surprise. My guy Teddy, he had the saxophones played for him, so he moved on. But this year we're going to bring on Thomas Howard in the Savannah State. We'll have his coach's show, and we're keeping our fingers crossed for another coach's show. We got to lean on one SID to make some things happen, and we'll have another coach's show on also. We ain't gonna say his name in case it don't work out, but we're leaning on that.
Well, look at that! Props to y'all for actually being able to get coaches shows pulled off, man. I tell you, it's
Brian, believe it or not, man. I mean, you said something about the professionalism within it, but these coaches are actually willing to do these types of things. Yeah. It's just about reaching out a lot of the times and just providing the platform in general. I think a lot of times they want their names out there. If you look at the movement between coaches within the conferences, I think the publicity does help. In fact, me and Sly plan on doing some features within our show on assistant coaches waiting in the wings as well. There are a lot of great assistant coaches within HBCU football that want to get their shot. And so, you know, we know some of them personally. It's just a matter of putting those names out there. So as long as those head coaches, you know, permit it, because, you know, there is a hierarchy. Hey, we gonna feature those folks out there so they can become the next in line for jobs as well.
And another thing I want to throw out there, man, when it comes to these coaching shows and stuff like this, a lot of the coaches want it. But they, you know, don't particularly know how. They don't, you know, for whatever reason, they don't know. I mean, basically, they don't have a platform to put it on, and they don't have anyone pushing them to put it on, because we got personalities in the conference, and I think that's what makes this that will send this conference over, you know, to the next step, is getting some of those personalities out there and displayed for the world to see.
Sly, Jamie, top personality currently in the SIAC.
Ooh, I don't know. That's tough.
It is tough.
And this
y'all talk to everybody. So
this the crazy thing. I think for basketball, it's easy. It's an easy coach.
Who is it in basketball?
Coach Dixon over on the sideline at Morehouse. That's the greatest. That is the greatest show on earth. Sometimes I get to watching that instead of watching the game.
And you're supposed to be calling it.
Yeah.
I would say Felton Huggins.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Felton Huggins would be the biggest personality. I think the largest one just left. Well, he's not there anymore. Let's just put it that way. Teddy would have been. Yeah, he would have been it. Quiet as kept, though. Quiet as kept. And you saw some of his subduedness at SWAC Media Day, but doggone it, listen, Quinn Gray. Believe it or not, if you dig just a little bit, just you know, dig just a little bit, you'll get that personality out of him. I mean, he's a, you know,
a soundbite.
The demeanor,
get the right question.
But
absolutely.
But he gives you that soundbite in that even tone, and you have to pay attention when you're talking to Gray to catch that he just took a shot at you.
Yeah,
or somebody.
Or somebody. Yes.
Quinn pulled us over to the side when we went down there for the playoff game. He pulled us over. He said, "Hey, man, I saw y'all gave that swaggiest Coach of the Year award, and my name wasn't mentioned. We're going to have to rewrite that."
That's the big thing, too. You never know who's paying attention to what we're broadcasting.
That's a good sign. When you got coaches that get you like that, that lets you know that, oh, people are actually watching this stuff that we're doing. I was gonna ask one final question about the coaches shows, because I do know and I have seen coaches shows that start, and then about the mid-season point,
when they 1-5,
coaches shows start to kind of go away, because if they're the open. Remember now, see, the new coaches shows are these, you know, all respect, you know, like the ones that you did with Teddy, where it was like you and Teddy talk, and we get to hear Teddy talking his personality, and he talks about the game, blah blah blah. The old school shows used to be like, hey, this is Daryl from Bevel County. Hey there, Coach. I've been a long time fan, but I got to tell you, I have no idea what y'all been doing on these third down plays, Coach. These third down plays ain't working, Coach. Why? And then the smoke that comes from those call-ins, coaches are like, I'm tired of hearing. I know some coaches in the SWAC that ran away from coaches shows because those call-ins were like, why do I have to keep listening to this? These unappreciative fans.
Well, that's I'm gonna take the blame for that. I'm gonna take the blame for that one, because Teddy wanted to go live. He wanted to go live, and now also with Thomas Howard wants to go live. He doesn't want to do a recorded show. Okay. And I say this is your first year. Now slow down. And you'll find out, man. Some of these fan bases, like. One thing I appreciate about this conference, I did not know how deep some of the fan bases in this particular conference was, because you know Tuskegee has a great fan base. You know, I'm from Columbia, so I know Benedict has their fan base. You know, but I started calling SIAC games right before the pandemic on Flow Sports, and I was calling them. I was calling Savannah State games, and I did not know Savannah State may have the best fan base in the conference. It's close because their fans travel. They aren't as big as Tuskegee. They aren't as big as Morehouse, but their fans show up. Savannah State is in the house no matter where they're playing. They're there. And so I told Thomas, I said, hey, man, you might not, your first year, you might not want to deal with that live show. We'll work our way into that. Baby steps.
Can I co-sign on that, Sylvester?
Oh, yeah.
Because I will tell you, outside of Clark Atlanta, who is next door to us, and Tuskegee, Savannah State is the next fan base as far as road attendance at our institution. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's a product of us being in Atlanta with a lot of Savannah States and Savannah alumni in Atlanta. And I think that has a lot to do with it for our institution. But you guys have seen them more on the road than I have. You guys could probably co-sign on that as far as other places where you guys have caught them on the road when you guys have been calling.
Oh, yeah. And Drew, remember this year, the basketball game, it snowed that game. It was a snow game. Well, Atlanta snow. It's Atlanta snow.
A heavy dusting.
Yeah.
Heavy dusting.
It rained.
It ain't St. Louis snow. It's Atlanta snow.
Shut the city down.
But the Savannah State fans still showed up to that game, and they were there deep.
Can I get a backstory to that quickly before we move on?
Go ahead.
It was over the Christmas break. It was the first game of the new year. B, it snowed. C, I was out of town because I was at a funeral and I am the ticket manager. So because of all those factors, we decided to make the game free. We didn't think nobody was going to show up because it snowed. Do you know Savannah State outdrew Morehouse in our building by at least a 3-to-1 ratio?
Oh, yes,
I remember.
Matter of fact, that was the largest game next to Clark. That game outdrew the Tuskegee game.
Yeah, I can believe it. I mean, because I'm gonna tell you what. Oftentimes, I like to just drop in on SIAC contests. Like if I'm not doing anything, I just randomly just go. Clark Atlanta plays Savannah State in softball. Savannah State had more fans.
Mm-hmm. And they fed the kids too. They fed the alumni chapter at Savannah State is strong. The Atlanta, I know the Atlanta alumni, they're strong. They went out and fed the baseball team and the softball team. Yeah, they're serious. They support Savannah State. And if they ever get a winner down there, boy, watch out. You better watch out. They ever get a winner down there.
Hey, don't forget, Savannah State was a Division I program.
I don't know if it count that as a real Division I.
By name only.
Okay, I mean, financially it didn't work out for them, but from all other accounts, anyway. Okay, so let's get into talking about obviously the upcoming SIAC Football Media Day. Now, of course, just to recap for people who might have had their head in the sand, last year the SIAC put 3 teams into the Division II playoffs. Last year was the first year that the SIAC went into this model and gave schools outside of the championship game an opportunity to play an 11th game, which served well for Kentucky State. So as you go into 2026, you had the Black College National Champs in Albany State. They were a 1 seed. They got all the way to the regional finals. Their coach leaves. What is your top story? What is your 1A story going into media day for you, Jamie?
I think the top story is, can Kentucky State take that next ascension into the top spot? I think I've seen a lot of these polls, a lot of these, predictions already, and they still have Albany State right up there. And the thing about it is they've had a full coaching change, even though when it comes to, what they've done before, even, transitioning from Gabe Gardenia to Quinn Gray, that first year, they kind of backdoored their way into the championship game. So, as Quinn Gray went to FAMU, so did a whole lot of other people. So I'm not exactly sure if that team is equipped to repeat. Even though, they want to go with the, last year's standings, and, that's fine and well. But Kentucky State returns a lot of players. They lost, a couple of key cogs, but they have been able to maintain a lot of their core nucleus. So I think, can they take that next step, especially with everything else going around them when it comes to just their school in general? We actually had a conversation with Coach Huggins, and I'm not going to go into too deep into details, but right now there's some unsurety when it comes to what their school will look like in a few years academically, which may impact what goes on with their football team. But this year, one of the hot storylines is, can they take that next step up?
Sly, how about you?
Yeah, Jamie's definitely right. He read my mind. That storyline number one is what will Kentucky State do to build on what they did last year. And I guess storyline number two would be all the new coaches in the SIAC, because we had a lot of rookie coaches and second-year coaches. I call them rookie veterans, because, you got Coach Sims. He's a rookie coach, but the man has been a part of 4 MEAC championships and won one of them by himself. You got Coach Connor, been around forever. You got all these coaches, who've been around forever, but they're rookie coaches. The senior coach in the league is Coach Felton and Coach James, and they got 3 years. So
wow.
So that's the thing now is, I think the second storyline is, how do the new coaches do? Because here's the thing about Division II ball, man. Everybody, we want to make predictions. We want to say this is who should be the number one team, this should be number 2, whatever. But truthfully, with Division II ball, I'm kind of hard-pressed to put a ranking out there until camp starts. And sometimes I won't put a ranking out there until 2 hours before kickoff, because you don't know who's going to be qualified to play. Drew laughed, but he done been
Genuinely.
He done been through it. Sometimes you might have a kid lined up and you thinking he going to play, and he doesn't end up playing until the second week or the third week of the season, because they waiting on something from clearinghouse to get out. So making predictions on some of these teams is pretty tough. So what I like to do is what happened last year with Albany State. I say whoever brings back the most starters, whoever brings back, sometimes it ain't even starters, whoever brings back the most players, they may be the team on top. And right now, Kentucky State, they lost a quarterback and they lost a cornerback. But other than that, and a running back. But other than that, they are stacked. They got depth, and depth is a big thing in D2 also. But they got depth. I think Kentucky State, watch out. I don't understand how everybody got Albany State picked second.
Yeah,
I don't get that. But.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, Sly. What about those two teams from your hometown? Both of them, obviously, one is a lot of people have them predicted to finish number 1, and one was a little bit surprising for those outside of the conference last year in what they did. For those inside the conference, it really was not a huge shocker that they did what they did. But what about those teams from Columbia?
Let me throw something at you. I'm gonna throw the Benedict is the quick one. The Benedict quick one. Benedict lost everybody. They lost everybody. They had, if it was 100 people on the team, they had 70 people in the transfer portal. That might be exaggeration. But
wow, where'd they go?
But not far from it. Not far from exaggerating.
Not far from it. But here's the thing. We talked to Coach Dickinson. Coach Dickinson said, don't worry about it. We'll be all right. And I looked at his transfer list, what he has coming in, and when y'all see his roster in the fall, you're gonna be like, well, okay, well, yeah, he might have something coming with him. He has a lot of talent coming to him. He has a lot of talent coming to him, and now he has to figure out how to make that talent gel during the summertime. And he also said this will be his first time, whoever his starting quarterback will be, he will have him in spring ball. He's never had a starting quarterback in spring ball. He doesn't know who's going to be the starting quarterback, but he had three of them in for the spring who fighting for the position.
Yep, now, Jet Petty should be familiar to some of you.
Wait a minute, he's at Benedict.
We ain't giving away names.
Is he at Benedict? Wait, whoa. Is he at Benedict?
Hey, Coach Dickinson, I did not say the name.
He didn't say we couldn't say, but he said he's in the mix of
that's starter right there.
Some things. We'll see, because he didn't name him the starter.
I'm naming him the starter. MVP. I'm calling it now. I'm watching. I'm keeping my eyes on Benedict. Ooh. Okay.
But now, and you got to look at across the street. Across the street, you got Coach Pearl. Coach Pearl, what makes Allen so dangerous coming back next year, they brought back 9 out of 10 offensive line. 9 out of the 10 on the 2 deep on the offensive line. And if you know anything about Coach Pearl, we always say the P stand for what?
Stands for power.
It stands for power. Coach Pearl like to run the ball. So he got this big offensive line. He got they lost the All-American running back. Right? The freshman kid they redshirted is my goodness. He is a grown man. He's a grown man. And you're going to give a grown man the ball 30 times a game, something can get ugly. They lost 3 out of the 4 starting defensive linemen, and all 3 of them went D1. One of them went to a power 4. He says, hey, we got some defensive linemen coming back, but they got the whole secondary coming back. Allen is going to be scary. Allen, and then they got the transfer kid from LSU. Young man was a 4-star coming out of high school, went to LSU, got some burn at LSU, had some things not work out, had to go to our junior college. Some things, he was a junior college All-American, but, certain circumstances happened, and he had to play D2 ball. And because Allen had relationships, their coaches had relationships with him, he decided to come to Allen to kind of prep himself to get ready to maybe have a shot at the NFL. Now, you're sitting up here thinking to yourself, how is he going to have a shot at the NFL out of Allen? Well, the athletic director, his name is Stanley Cromartie. His son, you may know, played at Tennessee State, played for the New York Giants by the name of Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. Now, he is
Black College Football Hall of Famer.
Black College Football Hall of Famer. He is the ambassador for Allen University. So, and he's also a trainer down in Florida who does things with the kids in Florida. So now you have a man who can train him and kind of help show him the way to get to the league. So Allen is going to be scary good, but that the Allen would have been my favorite to start the year, but their quarterback left.
Tremendous Mukes is in I'm from that area, Fayetteville. He is in Fayetteville State.
So, now, since this ain't my show, I can go and say how I really feel and hope nobody gets mad. All right. He made the transfer for whatever reasons, and I talked to the young man, and he had some reasons for wanting to transfer. But my thing is, he transferred, and he didn't transfer up. If you transfer up, I have no problem with you leaving. Go and get that money. Do what you got to do. He transferred to a middle-of-the-road Fayetteville State team that's probably not going to challenge for the CIAA title. They're probably not going to challenge for the title. Now, what happens, let's say he goes to Fayetteville and he has a good year, not a superb life changer. He has a good year. He'll go down, and in 3 years from now, nobody will ever remember him at Fayetteville State. If he would have stayed at Allen, he could have stayed at Allen and would have owned every record in Allen's history. He would have came in this season probably a great chance of being the conference preseason player of the year. He definitely would have been first or second team all conference. he had a chance to come in and be a preseason Division II All-American, HBCU All-American. Kids don't understand legacy. If you stay and he has the season, he replicates the season that he had last year, he had a potential chance to become an SIAC Hall of Famer 10, 15 years down the road. But he didn't understand legacy, and kids don't understand legacy, so he decided to go to Fayetteville. Now, Fayetteville's a good place. Don't get me wrong. They're just not going to win. Shut up, Stephen. That is a transfer down going to the CIAA. You stepping down going to the CIAA.
Wow.
But my bad. Let me get off my soapbox. That's my soapbox.
No, that's a great point. That's one of those questions. That maybe we'll find out down the road, because like you said, probably a lot of kids. It does make you wonder, and I'm sure you guys will get a chance to maybe, whether it be on the record or off the record, to kind of find out from Coach Pearl. Coach, did anybody talk to him about legacy? Was he someone that even cared about that?
I talked to him. But it was too late.
You talked to the young man. You actually talked to the.
It was too late, though. I called him too late.
Okay.
I called him too late. He was already dug in.
And there was some other things that occurred too, because Fayetteville State wasn't necessarily the first option. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, you want to go
necessarily the first one.
Sound like some investigative reporting. Somebody wants a story. There's a story there.
we are real journalists. We get the job because we look good.
We damn sure right on that one.
Interesting, Steve saying that Fayetteville having a full 36 scholarships and some NIL there. And I will say, we'll get to the CIAA who had their media day. Fayetteville State is usually one of the 3 or 4 contending teams in the CIAA. They've got a good history,
along with the Virginia schools.
But like you said, Sly, you got a chance to really be. You got a chance to make a difference in a place that you've been for 3 or 4 years. Maybe did he get his degree even from Allen?
No.
Wow.
Didn't have a degree.
And you got to think about who he replaced. David Wright.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
At the end of the day, he absolutely had an opportunity to cement his legacy. Now, I'm not gonna go in like Sly did. It's not. That's people got their reasons for whatever they choose to do. But at the end of the day, he's exactly right about cementing his legacy there. And I think Allen, for both of us, Allen was one of those clear-cut 1, 2, or 3 schools to be atop the SIAC this year because of who they had coming back. And had they been able to keep both Duncan and Dismukes, along with that receiving core and the additions, yeah, that would have been madness. But I'm also tell you, losing Kenneth Bulware as well, defense coordinator, also is something. And they lost what's the kid went to Texas Tech?
The big defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle went to Texas Tech.
Amari,
yeah, so Allen, it's I think they'll still have a good team just based on what the nucleus is, but it's not as appealing as it was earlier on.
All right, guys. Can I ask a question to you guys? Sorry, Brian. I didn't know if you were getting ready to go.
No, go ahead.
We all know that the SIAC is better overall when one of the 2 Atlanta schools are part of the mix. So, really? What do you get?
We've only seen it once.
It happened pre-pandemic. It happened pre-pandemic. I just want everybody to know that. But in general, your opinion on the 2 Atlanta schools, gentlemen.
You want me to go first? I think Clark Atlanta is interesting only in that you lose a great coach in Teddy Keaton. Not necessarily under how can I put under obvious situations. I mean, the administration made their choice and it was what it was.
You can say it, Jamie. They didn't ever give a good reason. They treated him like folks in Florida do. Well, we just gonna move on from you. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no. I mean, and that's fair. But I think when you have the quarterback like Jackson coming back, and you have some players that's still there, I think they did about as well as they could have. Considering they want to try to keep everything afloat. The hire Terry Sims, I think is without saying you're trying to completely rebuild, is about as good as you can do for what they're trying to do if they're trying to keep, even though Teddy, didn't have the season he wanted, that team was incredibly young. I don't think people realize just how young they were. They replaced the quarterback. You didn't expect to not have David Wright coming into camp, and then that happens, and they were a young squad, and so you could call it rebuilding, but when you lose a coach completely unexpectedly, it's a thing of what does that look like going forward. I think they have some pieces, but also they're going to look completely different. We talked to Coach Sims, and he says we're not going to be what Teddy Keaton was. We're going to play Sims ball. We're going to put our stamp on it, and we're going to look a little different than we did before. And so what that looks like will be interesting. But he's not new to this, so we'll see. Right now, he has the backing of the administration. And if you're talking about Morehouse for a second, bringing in Coach Sherrod was interesting as well, because I wasn't sure whether that coaching change would occur. I think Coach Mathis did a pretty good job, and I'm not going to ask, considering what the school is. They won some games, they did some things, and I think I think deserving a third year or deserving an additional year, especially when you have your quarterback in place like Miles Scott and others, wanted to see what that team would continue looking like. But they made the change as well, and so Coach Sherrod comes in, and he's trying to establish culture. So when it comes to, I don't know what they'll look like going forward, I think they'll be more so towards the middle of the pack to the back.
6 wins, baby. 6 wins.
Is that combined between both Atlanta schools?
Between Clark, Morehouse, and Spelman. 6 wins on the football field, boy. 6 wins on the football field. I had a long-standing saying when Morehouse plays Spelman in football, I'm giving Morehouse 3. I'm giving them 3. What I see with Morehouse, they made that change with Mathis. I don't think that was a bad decision. Mathis did hit a little hot streak during the middle of the year. He was trying to right the boat, but they didn't. I didn't see them going anywhere with Mathis there. Nothing against Mathis, because he's a great guy. I just don't know if he's a great coach, to be honest with you. Talking to Coach Sherrod, I really like what Coach Sherrod had to say. I like where he's from. He's a Duke guy, so he understands the balance of academics and school. Because the thing about Morehouse, you got to be a smart kid to get into Morehouse. And therein lies the problem with Clark and Morehouse. You have to be a really, really smart kid. Nothing wrong with being a really smart kid if you're going to med school. But if you're trying to win football games, you need a few guys who still write X when it's time to sign their name. You need some of them dudes on the team. And them dudes can't even walk past Morehouse. They can't even walk past Clark and Ladder. And if you don't have them cats on your team, it's gonna be a long year. But I like Coach Sherrod because what he learned at Duke by finding those smart guys, and then in Texas Wesleyan, he took an NAIA school, jumped on the scene, and won back-to-back conference championships. All right? He ain't going to win back-to-back conference championships here, but he may make Morehouse competitive. The thing about Morehouse, they have the best quarterback in the league. Miles Scott, by hands down, is the best quarterback in the league. Drew, I'll give you the numbers. He's a couple of yards away from being the all-time leading passer at Morehouse. And if he puts up a season like he put up last year,
he will be.
Yeah, they're probably going to be. He's probably going to be a Morehouse Hall of Famer in a couple of years. That's not that hard to do, but still, it's impressive. In about 10 years, he'll be a Morehouse.
That works for y'all, Drew? Sky.
Hall of Famer. All right. They have a dynamic receiver that I like. This kid out of Hawaii. He's really, really good. They even picked up a transfer running back a couple of days ago. Now he's coming off an injury. So I don't know how he'll be. But here's the thing about Morehouse. It's that offensive line. Last year, that offensive line looked like 5 guys that Miles Scott met at the library on the way to the game. And he just asked them, hey, y'all want to play ball? Y'all want to play ball today? And he picked up 5 random guys.
If you looked at the episodes last year, you know where he got them offensive linemen from.
He got them from the library. But now, here's the thing. Well, Miles Scott's dad is a man of Omega Psi Phi. Well, you better get some cues or something to block for him. You got to find some cues some way to block for him. Because he looked like he got a bunch of AKAs blocking for him. To be honest with you. But Miles Scott, and I think Morehouse has some talent, but they just don't have enough talent. And that's the problem. They don't have enough talent. Go across the street to Clark. Coach Sims is a good coach. I know Coach Sims is a good coach. He can coach, but he has to change the offense completely. Teddy ran a wide open offense, a spread offense, and he had offensive linemen that blocked pass first offensive linemen. Coach Sims, historically, he's been a 2 tight end, 12 personnel type guy, 1 back just running straight at you and using those tight ends to open up the passing game. All right. He has to change all that over. And with the transfer portal, you can do that. But you got to get them to mesh. You got to get them good by the season. I think they're going to start off the year and they're going to take some L's. I think Clark's going to take some L's to start off the year. But then they play Morehouse to start the year. So who knows? They might get a win. That's always a toss-up. Whoever can score
no
first.
Ties. No ties allowed.
Yeah, no ties
allowed. So somebody's got to win, Slide.
Somebody got to win game. All right? So I think
somebody will be in first place after that week.
There you go. But I think Coach Sims will be a lot better in year 2 than he is in year 1. And that's going to be the issue with Clark. So once again, 6 wins. If they get 6 wins between the three of them, they're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go rapid fire here, Drew, because we got about like 10 minutes here before we hit the top of the hour. So let's kind of rapid fire through some various questions that we got. I got one real quick. When Sims and Brian Jenkins of Edward Waters play, what do we call that game? Given the fact that those 2 men, former coaches of Bethune-Cookman University, and I believe it was Jenkins and then Sims, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah. Jenkins won 3, then Sims came in and won the last one. Well, Sims was already on the staff. He was already on the staff.
So they got familiarity. What do we call that matchup?
I wish I was still at Bethune. You know what, though? I don't know what we call it. I don't know. Maybe the big cat matchup right there, the Tigers versus the Panthers. But I do think Edward Waters is going.
What you call an old cat?
The old cat.
Old cat bowl.
Old cat classic.
9 lives.
The old cat classic. The 9 lives bowl.
But I do think Jenkins is going to make Sims wish he stayed in retirement because Edward Waters is going to be pretty good.
Matter of fact, yeah, I think so. I'm going to let you ask your questions, but yeah, Edward Waters, Edward Waters should be at the top of the conference.
Top 3?
One of mine.
Hold on. Is Edward Waters playing in that 11th game, trying that option? Or are they a top 3, top 4 team this year, Jamie?
I think they're a top 3 team. Yeah, I think they're a top 3 team. I think after we talked to Coach Jenkins, I think, and with some of their returners. Jontaris Thomas coming back, running the football. You know, he had a huge year last year. Listen, him and Dooley, as our offensive coordinator, you know, they started to mesh, and they had two really good quarterbacks. I'm gonna make y'all go back to HBCU game day and look at that whole interview. But he talked about the lessons he learned playing FAMU back in the day and getting multiple quarterbacks, and he had multiple quarterbacks, good quarterbacks that played last year on his roster. I think they'll be fine. They'll be right at the top of the conference.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with what they have coming back. Some of the additions that they, you know, when you have, I think everything starts in athletics. It starts up top, and what I mean by up top, I'm not talking about your head coach. I'm talking about your president. Edward Waters has a president from Albany State, an Albany State grad who was there when Albany State was winning. And Albany State era. That Mike White era, when they were winning and they were on top. He was a student there. All right. So now he likes football. He likes sports. He likes athletics.
He gonna call us after the show.
Yeah, he will call us after the show and let us know what was right and what was wrong.
Why y'all took 45 minutes to talk about Edward Waters? I had to bring that in because, you know, it took 45 minutes before Edward Waters even got mentioned. Go ahead.
I'll tell you, and the thing is, because he wants to win, he's done some things to kind of upgrade the program, building a weight room, building a locker room, you know, small stuff.
They built the stadium, Sly. You forgot the stadium was not there when he got there.
Yep, the stadium. He upgraded the stadium. So here's the thing. A lot of people think, oh, that's a small thing, the weight room, but it's huge. It's huge when you have a good one, you know? So he has support up high. Coach Jenkins has support up high. And then Coach Connor, his AD, she's young and she's energetic. She's trying to make things happen. So Edward Waters is going to be pretty good. And they should have been a top 4 team last year, but Allen came and took it to him and jumped in that AME Classic. Somebody asked, why doesn't Savannah State play Edward Waters at the end of the year? Well, Edward Waters and Allen are both AME schools, so they play the AME Classic at the end of the year. Edward Waters at Allen University. And Allen beat Edward Waters last year to get into that 4th game. And truth be told, hold on a second, Edward Waters lost a couple of games on the last play last year. They lost the Benedict in overtime. They lost Edward Waters could have been fighting. They could have been that 3rd team in the playoffs if they would have beat Benedict and won a couple of those games that they lost on the last play.
Side note about the Edward Waters and Allen, that game goes back to when both of those institutions were playing football at the NAIA level, for those who do not know the history of when that game batched up. What about the 2 Alabama schools, guys?
Miles is Sly, you want to go first?
Okay, I'll make it quick this time. I remember about Miles was really young last year, really, really young, and they did not get whipped. They lost a lot, but they didn't get whipped. They didn't get run out a lot of games. They should have beat the MEAC school up there.
Morgan State.
They should have beat Morgan State. They might be the only people who lost to Morgan State. Everybody beats Morgan State. But they lost a close game to Tuskegee, and they were really young. But Coach Gould did a lot of work. He's an NFL vet, 9-year NFL vet. He worked with the prep school. He started his own prep school and did a lot of recruiting with high school players. So he knows all the young guys, and he got a few transfers in, some guys who came through him in their prep days. So now Miles, they have their quarterback coming back. The offensive line they got beat up on last year, they're coming back. I don't know if they're going to be any good, but they're coming back. And that's all you can ask out of now. They're coming back. So, boom, Miles should be pretty good this year. Go down the road to Tuskegee. Coach James got the win.
Yeah.
He got – somebody talked about them saxophones playing. If Coach James don't win, they're going to start putting for sale signs on his front yard, man. He has some talent coming back. He has one of the best playmakers in the conference coming back. What's the EJ kid name?
EJ Hall.
EJ Hall. He's one of the best playmakers.
I coached him when he was 8 years old.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. You coached him in Little League. So, and despite all of that, he still became a good player. You know, he shook that 8-year-old off of him. Now, he's coming back. Tuskegee has some talent coming back. Tuskegee's going to challenge. They're going to challenge. And this is the year that Aaron James, he got to make something happen. He got to make it happen. And I think he got the talent to make it happen.
How far does he have to win? I've heard different people say different things. Does James have to get to the championship game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes.
I probably shouldn't say this.
Don't say it.
But you asked, should he does getting to the championship game?
I asked them. I ain't asked you.
But I got to say this as a Tuskegee alum.
Oh boy.
Does getting to the championship game? That's not enough for Tuskegee alums. I will put that. I will say that any Tuskegee alum will put that on record. You're not the winningest HBCU in history. Just getting to the championship.
Okay.
I want to do a correction for WSSU Ram. Aaron James did not make it to the championship game. That was Coach Ruffin's team that lost to Benedict. And then, that
was his only year as head coach.
That was Ruffin's only year.
James wasn't on the staff.
James was the OC.
He was the coach.
Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, I went on a date with Holly Berry. I met David Justice one time. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if that equals out. Is that the same? I had sex with Holly Berry.
Jamie, get us up. Talk about the three Alabama schools. Because I gonna get us all in trouble.
Allegedly.
But yeah, so it's Tuskegee. I think he has the talent to make it there. Now, whether or not he does, we're gonna find out. They're gonna put the ball on the field, and we're gonna find out.
And they were decimated by injury as well, man. Those that didn't, Raekwon Beal, when it went down, they just plummeted last year. So, yeah, they were young, but he has to hear those footsteps.
All right. Just as a point, look, exactly what you walk into, Colin. No idea. Edwin, you see what we're dealing with. You see what I'm dealing with? This is why I said I understand what Jamie's going through. Yeah, exactly. But I will say this, Karen. I'm just looking at the SIAC football schedule. That is not correct. Actually, Florida Memorial travels to Edward Waters to open the season on August 29th. So Edward Waters, Florida Memorial, they are playing each other to open the season.
That's the Unity Classic. Florida Memorial is always a tough team. They're an NAIA squad, and the thing about NAIA,
don't do
it. You ain't got to read good. So they get a lot of kids out there. They get a lot of kids in straight Miami. Woo! College is a lifeline for them. And early in the season, Florida Memorial is always a tough game. The Florida Memorial team.
Till they get into the Sun Conference and have to play those other schools.
You play teams like Kaiser, and Kaiser's an NAIA school, but they have kids on campus all year round, living in dorms. That's some tough. St. Thomas. Those some tough NAIA schools, man. They'll come up and whip up on some SIAC schools. You think Morehouse don't never play it?
All right.
That's my last Morehouse shot.
I got you, boy. No, I'm telling you, between the Morehouse shots and my other question, and I'm just kind of going down the line of just different little notes I had. I noticed there are only 4 SIAC CIAA matchups this year. And 2 of the bigger ones, you got Johnson C. Smith versus Benedict early in the season. I think that's either week. I'm looking at it right here. That's the opening. That's week 0. That's week 0. And then
Johnson C. Albany State is the first.
That's the 0 week.
No.
Yeah, that's the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah. Johnson C. versus Benedict is August 29th. I don't know if you call that week 0, week. Wow. Look, now it's week 1, Steve. Anyway, it's week 0. Anyway, y'all call it week 1, whatever y'all D2 folks call it. It's the first week of the college football season. The next week is when Albany State and Johnson C. Smith play. But again, only 4 CIAA SIAC matchups. that's a problem. That there should be more matchups between these two historic conferences.
I hate the schedule. Yeah, because I agree there should be more matchups between the two. I expect it to be, but when you have 10 matchups against the SWAC, only having 4 games against the CIAA doesn't make sense to me.
Bingo.
They should on
Can I
that.
jump in there
Definitely
from
put more games.
admin perspective?
Go ahead, admin.
Oh Lord.
No, seriously. No. Number one, both teams have an 8-game conference schedule. Now, both conferences have an 8-game conference schedule now, which only leaves you 2 open weekends to play. So, and out of those weekends, the SIAC is going to play the SWAC, the CIAA is going to play the BAC in a money game. So there's really only one opportunity if the schedules are lined up where that's the same week that another CIAA institution has off. So it's just tough logistically.
Is the money significant? Is the money significant though?
Yeah, it's significant enough. The SIAC or the CIAA team is going to get more from playing a SWAC or a BAC team than we will if we play a home and home against each other.
Plus or minus $300,000.
Come on now, we talking Division II, Brian.
Minus.
I'm just saying. I mean, okay, so.
You got that Tallahassee.
Right. You're talking D1. Those are D1.
Throw away $600,000.
But here's my point. See, you're passing up. You're playing it is, and Jamie, I'm glad you said that. 10 SWAC schools. So you're playing 10 SWAC schools, right? Versus, and those are, well, you almost had a win last year. So one of my questions is going to be, who's going to get a win over a SWAC school? Because we almost had one last year.
Kentucky State got the best chance.
Kentucky State will beat Southern. You heard it here.
Ooh.
You heard it here.
Oh.
And Brian, let me throw one other thing out. Since the SIAC and the CIAA are no longer in the same region, with them going to Super Region 1 and SIAC remaining in Super Region 2, the game is not as beneficial as it used to be when that was an in-region matchup. If you've only got one game left and you're going to play a Division II opponent, you're going to try to play somebody within your region so that it counts towards you making the playoffs.
Yeah, Steven made a point in the chat. And that's definitely a good point. Once we're not both in the same region, the game is a little bit different. So I agree.
And also, Emmett Jones in the chat was saying that it helps him with the Division II playoffs. That's not true. That's not true at all. Division II, the way the playoffs work, and Drew has a better understanding than I do. But the way the playoffs work, the only games that count toward the Division II playoffs are Division II games.
Yeah,
correct.
Those games that you play against Division I or NAIA schools, they have no effect whatsoever on the playoffs. No effect whatsoever. So you playing a Division I school is just a money game. That's the only, and a little bit of state pride, I guess, when you got a Tuskegee playing Alabama State, just historically state pride, Miles and Alabama A&M. And Miles and Alabama A&M, that is my reason I'm not going to select Miles in the top 5 this year, because Miles starts off the year with 2 Division I schools. All right.
Yep.
The first 2 games of the year,
and
Alcorn and Alabama A&M. Now, your first 2 games of the year, you're playing 2 Division I schools. Somebody's going to get hurt. You're going to lose some players, and it happens all the time. And you're playing them back to back, and then they want you to jump into the
season.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all, and that's why I can't give Miles a top 5 bid. If they would have played, I don't know, 2 more houses to start. No, I said I was going to stop.
Yeah. But see that, so it's the problem. So it's interesting because I think. On the other side, you got the division. You got a lot of SWAC folks. We got a lot of SWAC fans in the chat. They hate playing the D2s. They hate playing the D2 games, right?
Really not.
Well, the fans. I'm not. The teams will play them because they're tune-up games, right? Obviously, they're doing to the D2 schools what is going to happen to them if they go play the FBS games, right? But what again for the SWAC? The SWAC is most schools are focused on one thing, that's winning the conference going. But for the Division II teams, when you have a limited non-conference schedule, I just feel like you're hurting yourself. You're hurting the opportunity to grow your brands, CIAA, SIAC, or you're hurting your playoff opportunities, I think, because you're missing out on playing another Division II team. Now, I know the CIAA has challenges playing teams in the Eastern region, and I'm assuming there are less schools in the Southern region. I don't know. These are Region 2, Region 1. You guys know the number better than me. But because of some of the numbers and schools that have left to go to FCS, there are less region teams. But I don't know, man. That's just where I am on that.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out, Brian, with this.
That's what it is.
To qualify for the Division II playoffs, you must play a minimum of 9 Division II games.
Wait a minute, 9?
9 division. No, it's either 10 division.
Playing 8.
No, Division II games. You got the championship game also, which counts as your 9th game, and 8 of those must be in region. You allow 1 Division II game out of region, but as we have seen, 9 Division II games will not get an SIAC or a CIAA team into the playoffs. Henceforth, what the SIAC started last year and what the CIAA did this year, something that the PSAC has been doing for multiple years, having a championship game and then reshuffling the schedule so everybody else gets their 11th game. And I believe there's one of the other conferences in Super Region 1 does it. It's not the SAC. Maybe the SAC is doing it now also, but one of the other conferences also has that same format where they have a championship game and then they reshuffle the schedule from teams 3 on down so that they can get that extra game so that they can try to get that extra playoff spot. But you're going to have to play 10 Division II games to have a realistic shot to get into the playoffs. And then it comes down to strength of schedule and all those other things that go into it, Brian.
And what's wild also is you're losing schools, especially in Region 2. Gulf
South is no longer.
So
yeah.
That
Valdosta
makes it
State.
even worse.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Valdosta State, Mississippi College, and Delta State. They are out there in pure limbo. They have called around the entire SIAC looking for games. They've got what they could out the SAC, which is the other team that is in the region. So given the decimation of the Gulf South, and there's a realistic chance that these Gulf South teams may not qualify because number one, with 3 teams, they will not have a conference championship will not be recognized. That's number one. Number 2, some of those teams still do not have enough Division II teams. There's a realistic chance you could see 4 SIAC teams in the playoffs this year.
Sounds like an opportunity for a partnership with a particular conference.
Why? Why should we partner?
Why should we help them?
Why should the SIAC partner at this point? We have the power right now. Between us and the SAC, we have the power.
Exactly.
How many conferences make up the region?
It's 3 conferences in each region.
Can y'all beat that third? Can y'all beat that third team? That third conference?
Team.
Who's the other conference?
SAC.
Can you beat those schools?
South Atlantic.
We beat Wingate. Last year.
We had the Wingate Wish.
Should have beat Newberry.
Yeah.
Should have beat Newberry. It's in our region, Super Region 2. It's Conference of Carolinas, the SAC, and the SIC. Gulf South is the one that's gone. It's 4 in every other region. It's 4 teams. I mean, 4 conferences in every other region.
Okay.
And we're the only one with 3 because the Gulf South is gone.
All right, just thinking about history when you get into the playoffs.
And the ironic thing about the Conference Carolinas is most of those are former Gulf South teams.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
But they didn't want to compete with the West Floridas and the Valdosta's and those powerhouse teams in the Gulf South.
They can go back home. All right, let's get you guys out of here with quick. Who do you think will be the predicted order? Who will be number 1? Who will the coaches? Who is the coaches and SIDs that pick the?
No, it's just 1 vote per school.
Oh, who makes the vote?
Either or.
All right. So who do you think will get the who will get the vote? Sly, who do you think will get it? Preseason predicted order number 1. 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
I think if the coaches are doing the picking, I think it's going to be Kentucky State. It'll be the easy number 1, and number 2 is a toss-up, man. I've been waffling. I waffle a lot between Tuskegee and Benedict. And the thing is, man, it's so hard, man. We had to make this choice for the inaugural poll that the HBC 4U, I guess, endorsed.
The Black College poll, right?
The Black College poll. We had to put that vote out, and I was reluctant, but I did it, because that's my duty. But I'm kind of Albany State's definitely not number 3. Albany State's shouldn't even be on this list. But
4 first place votes too.
Yeah, I don't know. Those 4 people didn't watch SIAC football or don't keep up with SIAC football.
They need to watch SIAC sit down more often.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
Subscribe, by the way.
Yeah, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms. SIAC sit down. Check it out. Make sure you subscribe. But But right now, for me, it's just easy for me to say Kentucky State because I do think they have the most talent and they're well coached. And number 2 is Tuskegee or Benedict.
Wow. What about you, Jamie?
I'm going to go Edward Waters 1, Kentucky State 2.
2 non-traditional powers.
Waters. Wow.
Ooh, wow.
I was not expecting that one at the number 1 slot, Jamie. You got me on that one.
As much as I like Kentucky State, I really, really would prefer if Kentucky State came in second because I don't want to go to Frankfurt for the championship. Let's just be honest. I don't want to go all the way up there for the championship. I have to catch that one on TV. I like it, but I'm going to catch that one on TV.
Wow.
And it's going to be cold.
After the show.
Yeah, and it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, can you disclose who makes the vote for Morehouse? You or Harold?
No, it would be either me or Coach Brad.
Oh, okay. Well, he's new. He shouldn't get a vote. He don't know.
I won't disclose anything beyond that.
He don't know nobody. Drew's gonna tell him who to vote for if it is him. Drew's like, nah, coach, you don't want to vote for them. Anyway, all right. I would get a hoot out of seeing. I think it'd be so funny to see Kentucky State and Edward Waters, 2 non-traditional teams. But the fact that Sly said Tuskegee just goes to show that that'd be almost like people just voting by default. Let's just put Albany State and Tuskegee in there, and then let's.
And I see somebody in the chat too. No love for Fort Valley. We absolutely love Fort Valley, but I think it's still a year away.
Yeah, Fort Valley a year away. They got some talent down there, but I don't think they have enough. And what's going to happen in the SIAC? I truly believe, man, it's a lot of teams right up there near the top. It's a lot of teams that are going to fight. And you're going to see some really, really good football in the SIAC this year. It's some slobber. You're going to see some slobber knockers this year. They're going to be some tough games in the SIAC this year.
Hey, Jamie, Sly, since y'all deal with all the schools, and we didn't now since you mentioned Fort Valley, you have mentioned just everybody else in the conference. I need y'all to clean up Lane and Central State. That way you don't offend anybody.
Okay. This is going to be easy. Lane, 13th. Central State's a wild card.
Wild card.
Because I think they're a little bit better than than people may expect. They beat some teams last year, including Fort Valley. That they were right there. I would say mid to back of the pack, Central State.
Central State may set back race relations for a little bit because they're gonna have a white kid in there at quarterback who might lead the conference in passing. He might lead the conference in passing.
Even more than Miles Scott.
Hey, Coach Carter went and recruited, man.
Yeah, he recruited.
They understand because they're not out there like that in the recruiting rankings and things of that nature. You kids know, but out there in the Midwest, that Indiana, that Michigan area, right there in the state of Ohio, he's done some things. So yeah,
because this kid came in from Kentucky Wesleyan, a NAIA school, and was the conference player of the year, led the conference in passing, was pretty high in the nation in passing. He threw for over 3,000 yards. So you're going to an ex-NFL player who want to chunk it around a little bit. So, you see, he from Kentucky. He definitely signed his name with an X. He's from Kentucky.
You play ball up there, you know.
I play ball up there. I know he signed his name with an X. So that's a part of
y'all are hilarious.
We just checking to make sure you got all the teeth. That's what we worried about with Kentucky. But,
Slide Sports Guy, Jamie Walker, every Wednesday, the SIAC sit down on the HBCU Game Day Network.
An amateur night comedian.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the kind of great content, probably not as loose, but definitely as informative. I don't know. It might be as loose. I don't know. We'll see.
It can be.
It can be. I'm sure. So I got to still walk around to some of these campuses. So I mean, he gonna hear about it.
Let me tell you something. I should have learned early. I went to that Labor Day kickoff classic down at the Legion Field. I called the game, and as I was getting on the elevator, I ran into a nice lady, seemed like the nicest lady in the world, and she caught him. She said, "Hey, are you that Sly guy on the SIAC down show?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, I'm the AD at Fort Valley, and I heard what you had to say about it, and I want to let you know we're gonna be right. We're going to be getting better, and we're going to be a great team. So you need to come on down and check us out." A.D. Johnson, she got me in a corner in the elevator. I had to repent. I was worried about going off that top floor of Legion Stadium.
See, one guy do it to you. The PC guy, Sly, he's the opposite.
There you go. And that's the SIAC sit down every Wednesday. You can find them. Make sure you guys are following. Go subscribe. Hit the bell notifications. So that way, good. One brand new subscriber, that's good. Anybody else out there, please make sure you go subscribe to the channel and the feed on Instagram. These guys do some great work and get caught up to date. You guys will be doing what kind of coverage on Wednesday? Anything live? Anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll be live from SIAC Media Day.
Okay,
live,
good stuff.
Gathering everybody up, man. Make sure you check us out, man. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you do all of that, man. Support. Hey, the Cash App is always open.
Yes, sir.
SIAC sit down. The Cash App is always open.
There you go.
Skip lunch for you boys. We don't want much. We just want you to skip one lunch for us. That's it.
See, there you go.
And also, that 6 p.m. is tentative on Wednesdays. Depending on whether Stephen Gaither want to upload it or not.
He got a lot of SIAC hate in his heart. He got a lot of hate in his heart for the SIAC.
It's coming, y'all. It's buffering, man. It's buffering.
Boy, I tell you. But look, just make sure to follow. Lock in on Wednesday. The media day starts sometime around 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it'll be live in Macon, Georgia. And you can definitely tune in to see Sly and Jamie and their coverage, their live coverage. But you got to make sure you're logged in to the SIAC sit down on YouTube and Instagram in order to be able to see it. As always, Jamie, Sly, man, appreciate you guys. Again, have a great year. Enjoy talking with you. And I know we'll see you down the road. Maybe even call some games together. Who knows? You never know. But if not, have a great year. And, keep doing it. Keep grinding, guys. You're doing a great job.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. When Drew and I come back, we made a promise. We're going to be done by 9 o'clock. So we got a lot to catch up on. And it's going to be rapid fire. We're going to cover the CIAA, SIAC, and MEAC in 45 minutes. You
don't
watch,
need time for FAMU, man.
I guarantee, huh?
They don't leave no time for FAMU.
We don't have no time to talk. You want to talk about FAMU? You got to come see FAMU on Wednesday. We ain't got no time to talk about that foolishness going on at FAMU. Sorry. All right. Peace out, fellas. We'll talk to you later. We'll be back right after these words. This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural taste, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Attention football fans. The Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff presented by Toyota is back in Atlanta on August 29th. Representing the SWAC, Alabama A&M, and representing the MEAC, Howard. Join us at Center Park Stadium for a full day of tailgating, football, and bands.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan, A.D. Again, appreciate Sly and Jamie Walker.
Man, how do we follow that segment up, man?
Quickly. That's about all I can say. Good stuff. Happy for those guys. Glad to see that the SIAC is getting a lot of attention in all the sports, really, because those guys, if you were paying attention, not only were they talking football last year, but they were definitely talking basketball. during the year. Two guys, like I said, journalists, not scared to touch on controversial topics and subjects. And they are backed by HBCU Game Day, so that's that speaks for itself. Before we get into recapping what happened in the CIAA, I got to mention this story that I've been just kind of paying attention to at the end of last week. And really, it's Kyle Mosley of HBCU Legends, SI.com/HBCU, SI.com/college/HBCU, or if you just type in HBCU Legends on SI in your chat feature, it'll pull it up. But he did some really good reporting on what's going on with Texas Southern. He did an article, and I finally got a chance to read it, where he gave some great background on hold on, where is it at here? Okay. The title is called Texas Southern's Unused Stadium Power, Inside the Tigers' Scheduling Rights. As some of you, just to summarize, some of you may or may not know that Texas Southern, for the better part of the spring, did not really know where their games were going to be played for this upcoming season because of conflicts with the soccer clubs.
Houston Dynamo.
Well, it's not just the other one too. There's two soccer clubs, the women's league too. So there are two clubs that actually use the stadium, right? And so for all this time, we've kind of talked about it as Texas Southern using that stadium, their stadium, right? And so certain games have been played there. I know when FAMU came to play Texas Southern, they were there. A lot of other SWAC schools have played there over these last, I don't know how long the stadium has been used for Texas Southern, maybe the last 5-10 years.
It's definitely not 10.
Okay, so 5 to 10 since SWAC expansion. How about that?
Yes.
Okay, since SWAC expansion. Okay, and come to find out, he did some great reporting in which he talked to the former athletic director, and come to find out that actually Texas Southern is not the odd man out in this deal. Actually, when this stadium, part of the original agreement that I think Dr. Charles McClellan was a part of, right? He was a former AD at Texas Southern.
That dates it back at least 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Since the agreement was signed, maybe even closer to 10 years, because they probably signed it before the construction.
He gives some great background in this. I mean, I'm telling you guys, go find this article and go read this article. It came out on July 17th. But in short, I'm going to shortly summarize as best as possible. What was interesting is Texas Southern is supposed to be sparked. There's supposed to be a meeting between Texas Southern and the two soccer clubs, in which they all kind of work through the scheduling, where all three entities kind of look, because Texas Southern was a part of the deal.
They're a partner.
They're
a partner.
Yes, that whole, even though that thing was built with them in mind, like, hey, you can have it, but Texas Southern's got to be a part of it. And so what happened is, as maybe some of you don't know, Texas Southern has, over the past year, had a change in athletic administration. I think they've even had a change in their president, maybe. I know they've had it in the athletic administration, where the former AD, who had
Kevin
been
Granger.
Kevin Granger, he'd been there for about a decade, probably, right?
He replaced, I believe he replaced McClellan.
He replaced McClellan, right?
Right, when McClellan went on.
He'd been there for at least about 7 years or so. Right. Well, and somebody said multiple presidents, okay? But anyway, obviously, if there are certain provisions that allow for Texas Southern to have exclusivity, and the only thing that would kind of bump them is if one of those two teams are playing in a MLS Cup or some major league
playoffs, MLS or
correct,
the Women's League's playoffs.
Well, apparently Texas Southern missed out on the scheduling meetings, so because you weren't there when they were doing the scheduling, you got well, hey, we got these events going on. Now, that brings up other questions like, hey, did anyone call y'all, or were they supposed to call? That messy stuff, right? But anyway, it's a great insight look at, hey, what happened and why Texas Southern was, for a while, they were bumping around with other choices. They were looking at other places. There were talks of them playing at where they play it. They played a game at like Houston Christian.
Yes.
Even small,
high school,
smaller venues.
Reliant Stadium.
Yeah, looking at Reliant Stadium. So
where the Texans play at.
Yeah. So eventually what happened is they finally released the schedule the other day, right? They released the schedule. Thank you. And if you notice in looking at the schedule, with the exception of the Southern game, which is going to be played in Reliant Stadium, they're playing their games at home in what's called Thorne Stadium. You're like, what is Thorne Stadium? Well, what you come to find out, Drew, that is Thorne Stadium. Thorne Stadium is a high school stadium. I guess in Texas, they do these football stadiums, but they build these stadiums in which multiple schools within the school district can use them. Right? That's a big thing in Texas. Well, this high school stadium seats, by my count from what I found online, seats about 10,000 people, Drew. And
decent size.
I mean, look at that. Look at some of the amenities that stadium has. A full-blown video monitor. I'm assuming that's a field house and locker room at one. I don't know what that is there behind. Independent School District Stadium. Thank you, Edwin. Those of you who in Texas know the proper terms better than me, right? But I do know this is where high schools will play on Friday night, local high schools. But look at that stadium, press box. I mean, there's some amenities there, Drew, that look better than some FCS programs. Might even look better than some
FCS.
SWAC.
Can we say SWAC?
Yes, you can say SWAC.
Definitely SIAC.
Yes. So so I guess all of that finally got worked out, and that's where Texas Southern is going to be playing, with the exception of course, the Southern game, because I think Southern would kind of outdo that 10,000 seat stadium.
That's going to Reliant. And
yes.
I believe, aren't they hosting the Labor Day Classic this year, Texas Southern?
No. Prairie View's hosting.
Prairie View has it this year.
Prairie View has it this year.
Okay.
Prairie View has it this year. Yeah. So, who knows? Maybe Texas Southern will get back on negotiating meetings. But again, and all that to say what's happening, Texas Southern also is making plans. I think you've read the reports. There's a $1.7 billion campus infrastructure, that facilities upgrades. They're even talking about building an on-campus stadium along with a lot of other things there at Texas Southern. But I mean, look, how many seats did that did the soccer stadium hold?
As low 20s, if I remember right, maybe like 22.
Okay, now outside of the Labor Day Classic, I don't know if I saw them really hit those.
Southern will bring it.
Southern brought close to, okay. So other than Southern,
yeah,
I would say probably they were in they were, Southern brought, okay, so it seats 22. Put it like this: the 10,000 seat high school stadium, they can probably sell that out, and it'd be probably a good environment, right, for a FCS game.
Right.
Now, there are some SWAC schools that have stadiums that don't seat 10,000.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, there are a couple of schools that don't seat 10,000 people. So it's not like I know it's not what Texas Southern had, but they still aren't in the smallest stadium in the conference, in that facility.
Yeah. Edwin asked, how far is it from Texas Southern? And G Boom responded, It's out north, close to the airport. G-Boom, I know you live there in the Houston area. Give us a.
Do a Google map search. All you gotta do is type in Thorn
how
Stadium.
How many miles?
And then Thorn Stadium, one direction, and then Texas Southern University in the other.
Well, you do that then.
Huh?
You do that.
I'm not that. I'm telling whoever asked that question.
But
I'm just saying.
But let's just talk about some of the things, and I hope this is done from a logistical standpoint. Number one, there are a couple of small differences with playing with a high school stadium. Number one, if the stadium is already not lined, you have to have the college hash marks. College hash marks are narrower than high school hash marks. So I'm assuming Texas Southern is going to have to pay to have those temporary hash marks put down. But even a more important issue, Brian, and I've learned this from my NAIA days because we played at a high school stadium. The goalposts in college are narrower. So if that stadium does not have the adjustable goalposts, how do you accommodate for that?
Drew, this stadium was not built in 1984.
Right.
This stadium,
but still,
this stadium looks like it was built probably within the last 2 to 3 years.
But
I would argue
did they
that
put
I
high
would be
school
shocked.
only goalposts in, or did they put adjustable goalposts?
All right, Drew.
It's a real question, Brian.
I would be shocked if you couldn't move the goalpost. I don't even think they built. Did he even install goalposts that you can't move?
Yes, they do. They do have regular 24-foot goalposts. College foot goalposts are 18 feet, and if you don't have them where they can be adjusted, and adjusting them can be a beast and a half depending on the system that you have. Been there, done that. If you don't have the gooseneck goalpost, you got a problem.
All right. Thank you, DLOB. Thank you. That's really what we want to know. It was. I can't imagine that stadium doesn't have.
But this is Texas high school football. What we saw on that screen was not uncommon for Texas, Brian.
There are also other events that are held. You would be pigeonholing yourself to build a stadium that didn't have the capabilities of moving or making adjustments to allow for other types of football, whether it be semi-pro, junior college, NAIA. This is Texas. This is they claim to be the home of football.
And they are.
I don't think you are building just a sole purpose high school stadium without the thought. These people think big, Drew. I would be floored and I will shut up and I will sit in a corner if you're telling me that they built that stadium with no opportunities of expanding to allow for the other regulations of football. But you do bring up a good point. So I don't mean to poo-poo the point. I'm just saying I would be shocked if not. Okay. Let's talk about the CIAA.
It takes another operations person to understand what I'm talking about.
Well, there you go. There's Kelvin Rozier for you. Another operations person. So details matter. So not that they don't. I'm just, All right, let's talk about the CIAA, who had their let me get ready to pull it up here. The CIAA predicted order of finish was announced. Did I lose you, Drew? Where'd you go?
I don't know. You got rid of me.
Oh, yeah, I know why. Hold on. All right, there's Drew. All right, are you there, Drew?
I'm here.
All right, now we got you. All right, all good, folks. Okay, here's the CIAA predicted order of finish. As you can see, as voted on by the SIDs, Virginia Union and Johnson C. Smith selected 1 and 2. Fayetteville State 3, Virginia State 4, Winston-Salem State 5, Livingstone 6, Elizabeth City State 7, Bowie State 8, 9, Bluefield State 10, Shaw 11, Lincoln. And obviously the conference is now down to 11 and not 12. Don't know if St. Aug will ever come back. Maybe they'll come back one day, but
we just hope that they stay open now.
Yeah. Now, the first thing that you may notice here, if you remember the Black College football poll, who was the number 1 team in that poll preseason, Drew?
I think it was Johnson C.
It was Johnson C. Smith. Johnson C. Smith was number 1 among the media folk.
And coaches.
Media folk and coaches. But it was it was Virginia Union who got the votes within their own conference. What's also interesting about that is when you go and look at the preseason awards, there is not, now the CIAA doesn't do a second team. So really this is all first team. And they do offensive linemen, quarterback, running back, receivers, all that stuff, right? There is not one Virginia Union player on the preseason honoree list, Drew. I thought that was the most fascinating thing, that your number 1 ranked team, and I don't know what the voting, I don't know how many, what the difference in votes was between first and second. But Virginia Union, now we all know that they lost a Harlan Hill running back, but they've had success running the ball the last 3-4 seasons. They've been in the playoffs each of the last 4 seasons, I believe. Drew is the number, 4 years running. And maybe that alone and a returning coach is why they were predicted number 1. But the fact that no players had any first team honors, while Johnson C. Smith had 5 players on the preseason. What do you any thoughts, Drew? What do you make of that? What, if anything, do you make of that?
Top 4, Brian. What you expected? Maybe the order might be a little bit different depending on who it is, but the top 4 are right where you expected. It's that 5 through 11 that I think could be interesting. And if there's one school I'm thinking in that bottom half, Brian, that could upset the apple cart possibly just based on last year, possibly Elizabeth City, Brian.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of love for Elizabeth City State. Picked 7th, had 5 players on the preseason team, which apparently is the most that school has had since 2011. They won their final 3 games of the year. So I guess, that's got folks got their eyes open. But I don't know, Drew. I tell you, I mean, it's hard to look. The first 4 is almost like wash and repeat, because that's the 4 teams who have been sort of the consistent staples. One of those 4 teams has either been in the championship game or won the championship over the last, I would say, post-COVID. So it doesn't surprise me to see the 4 teams there. Fayetteville State had the most selections on the preseason honors list, as they had 7 players selected. So that kind of gives you, I think, the guys, Jamie, I don't know if it was Jamie or Sly, somebody had some questions about Fayetteville State. I think Fayetteville State will be one of the contenders.
Here's a question, Brian. We saw 2 years ago when Johnson C faded at the end. We saw last year where they were able to stay the course.
Mm-hmm. Lost a heartbreaker in the playoffs.
Right. Is this the new Johnson C that we're seeing, who's going to be a contender every year, as they have been for the last 2 years? Or will Johnson C regress back to the mean?
Well, you have a program that knows how to win, and
no. You have a coach. You don't have a program yet. You have a coach.
They didn't lose. I don't see anything
before Coach Flowers got there, Brian. Johnson C was the doormat.
But Drew, I'm talking about, you probably have guys in the program who have been there for the last 2 seasons, whether they were there last year or at least 2 years now. So I mean, you probably got some juniors and seniors who know what it takes to win. You got some guys who have bought in. And so as you're bringing in these new transfers, or a few transfers, and they've got some talented guys coming in, right? I don't think you're going to slip. I don't think there's going to be a slip. And for any of those returning players, the taste of losing in the playoffs is even more motivation, right? Because they hosted a game last year. I mean, we were talking about the expectation of them taking on Albany State for the mythical Black College National Championship game in the second round of the playoffs, were we not? And Johnson C didn't live up to their end.
No.
So,
yeah.
I think while the coach, I think the program is in the 3rd year of its winning phase. And so now when you recruits who come in, they're being told by, whether it be the guys that they're meeting or other coaches, there's an expectation now. And I think after 2 solid seasons, there's a real expectation at Johnson C. Smith. And I love their scheduling. I love the fact that Johnson C. Smith is coming right out the gate, trying to punch 2 of the top dogs in the SIAC right in the mouth week 1 and 2. I love it. Look, they say, hey, you want us to be the number 1 team in Black college football? We're going to go out and punch the two of the top teams from last year or this year, whatever you want to call them. We're going to come punch them in the mouth, and we're going to see how they stand.
Johnson C starts the season 2-0. They will get a majority of folks' number 1 vote, including mine.
They'll get those. Benedict had the most first place votes, right?
But they will have beaten Benedict if they start off 2-0.
That part, they open the season, they will have beaten Benedict in game 1, and then they would have beaten, and then Albany they'll take State on preseason number 4, I think, Albany State.
Yeah.
The other big news in the CIAA, they finally they came onto the page that the SIAC had, where they're allowing their 3rd and 4th place teams to play for an opportunity to add a game to their schedule. Well, it looks like they're calling it Friday Night Blitz game. I think it was first reported maybe a few weeks ago.
Gaither broke it.
Yep. And now they are calling it the Friday Night Blitz game. They're going to play it on Friday, the day before the championship game. They're going to play it in
I called that.
You did. They're going to play it in the same stadium, too. Drew.
I called that, too.
It'll be a 6:00 kickoff. So the number 3 versus 4 team will get an opportunity to play, to add a win, add a game to their resume, which, we saw how it helped the SIAC get 3 teams into the playoffs. And now that the CIAA is in a different region, this could very well help, 3 teams get into the region as well. $6 too early.
I don't know about the 8 o'clock start that y'all like there, Steve. So that might be right on time with that 6 o'clock.
I don't know why 6 o'clock. I mean, 6 o'clock allows you to, if the game is over by 9, it still allows you to get out and allow folks to mingle and still get out and go party and do whatever else you like to do late at night.
Will this turn into another, Brian? Will this turn into another CIAA basketball tournament situation where you, with the Friday, Saturday now, where you have CIAA events going on Friday night in Durham? I believe these games are in Durham.
They are both in Durham. Yeah, people have to work. I don't know.
Brian, it's Saturday. Ain't nobody got to get up and go work on Saturday.
No, Friday. He's talking about the Friday game. I think anybody who's going to go is going to find a way to be done with work by 4 or 5 o'clock so that they can go. I really do. Again, one thing that we have learned, you cannot schedule games based on what you think people's work situation is. You can't be scared of scheduling this game at 6 o'clock. I think that was I'm going to tell you one of the great things, John Grant always drops some jewels whenever we get those little opportunities to sit and chat with him. And I will say the one thing I enjoyed hearing from him is when he told me or told us that we're sitting at the table talking to him. There were a lot of people who thought that the MEAC SWAC Challenge game couldn't survive on week 0. Didn't think it could survive in Atlanta, in a neutral site like that. Didn't think that the Celebration Bowl could survive when it is. Didn't think it would survive the change of the playoffs. And every time what we end up seeing is that if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. If you build it and you put the time at 6 o'clock, look, didn't they say that when they're a football game on Friday
at 5 o'clock last year,
5 o'clock, how'd that game do?
Did great.
There was a game in Philadelphia that people questioned how that game on a Thursday. People questioned how that game would survive.
48,000.
48,000. So,
and Brian, people always question the 12 o'clock start for the Celebration Bowl.
Huh?
The 12 o'clock start for the Celebration Bowl.
That's another thing he mentioned. So, I mean, we continue to show that if you have a good first off, you have to have a good matchup. And if the conference wanted to, or media members, and those who are in the chats watching, if you hype this game up and if the conference even builds this game up as a playoff at large opportunity for somebody, eyes are going to watch. Imagine, let's take it to look at this. Fayetteville State versus, I'm going to throw it just because, Fayetteville State versus Winston-Salem State for an opportunity to get a playoff bid. Everyone's watching. And especially if those two teams have played earlier in the year. It's not a playoff.
Which they usually do.
Which they usually do.
But they've changed the scheduling format this year, so I'm not sure if some of those traditional games have upheld.
Yeah. So are these games going to be on ESPN Plus?
No, not right now, because CIAA does not have a media deal.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's something to CIAA. Now, see that now that is a whole nother story. That is a whole nother thing that has to get fleshed out.
We let Steve break that one too.
Yeah, we'll figure out what that media deal looks like. Which is the other kind of interesting story that was kind of hanging out there from the CIAA Media Day. You know, there were some comments from the commissioner, McWilliams Parker, stating that the agreement did expire and that they're going to try to put a greater emphasis on controlling their own content through the CIAA Sports Network. Okay, that's good. You've been using the CIAA Sports Network. You have. You know, now you just need to get all of your. I would, I'm going to be honest. I would be less concerned about the CIAA Sports Network if it were new. But again, it's been around for years. Every school is broadcasting games. Right? So the network's been around for several years. They're not new to this. You know, the question is, does the conference have anybody that it can lean on to help them with the advertising revenue dollars? That's what's going to be interesting. There was also an interesting piece that came out. HBCU Game Day had reported that Lincoln, let me see, who's going to be playing? Somebody, Virginia Union. Oh, Lincoln, PA, the 11th, predicted 11th, is going to be playing Virginia Union on October 31st at Lincoln Financial Field.
That's a Saturday, everybody.
That's a Saturday. If I recall, didn't Virginia Union put 70 on Lincoln last year?
I don't know if last year, but they run
one
up
of
the
those
score.
years. One of those years. So, all right. Well, that's kind of a look at the CI. Oh, Philly's mayor is a Lincoln grad. Okay, well, that does explain a lot. All right. A lot of, we've talked a lot about SWAC media days. Well, we haven't per se, you and I, but we were there. We talked about it. Give me a takeaway or two from SWAC media day, Drew.
Last year, all the attention was on Vic for obvious reasons at SWAC. You said SWAC or BAC?
SWAC. Let's recap SWAC. We'll talk about MAC here in a second. That's all right. Yeah,
my bad.
That's all right, SWAC. You're ahead of me. That's all right.
BAC media days.
SWAC media days, Drew. Stay with me. I know it's getting late. Stay with me. We're trying to get to the close, Drew.
SWAC.
Trying to get to the close. SWAC media day. Just give me one takeaway, one good takeaway that you got. I'm not going to ask you to go deep into the woods.
I'm going to give a comment. First of all, Zach, where was you at, man? I didn't see you for the first time since I've been there. I didn't see you there, Zach. Zach McKinnell, Blue Blood.
He wasn't there. That's right.
Yeah. So we'll throw that one out there. Great seeing all the guys together, especially from the Black College Sports Network. Although there were more media members there, Brian.
287.
It did not seem like it was 3-4 years ago where everybody was just on top of each other. If you remember, Brian, 3-4 years ago. And maybe that's due to the shift in how we cover. I think there were more social media journalists, as far as people on IG, TikTok, that is how they're covering. Versus 4 or 5 years ago, we still had a lot of people doing traditional stuff and podcasts at Media Day. Versus this year, Brian, I think people were just getting content instead of trying to put out live content like we were back in the day. That was one of the probably the biggest thing that I noticed. I did not get an opportunity to really talk to people like I have in the past because I had other obligations during the day. So I got to really walk around a lot more this year than I have in the past instead of being glued to the set. So it was a little bit of a different experience for me on a personal level. So just being able to go around and talk to different people and interact with people and have a bunch of side conversations with people about different things, and so people dropping tidbits on you. And Brian, it still amazes me, even though we've been doing this for years, Brian, when people come up to you and say, "Hey," not I don't want to say they fans of us, but especially our peers in the media. Hey, I watch you guys, or great job on this and everything like that. It's still refreshing when people come up to you with those type of comments, Brian.
You got that?
Yes, I did. Because I got a chance to walk around.
I didn't get that at all.
Because I wasn't glued to the set for the first time. I'm saying I just happened to bump into people and everything. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Brian. I don't know if some of the people trying to butter me up for Celebration Bowl credentials or not, but I don't know.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, I knew that. Look, I would probably slide more than that with that than anything. Anyway, yeah, there was I think the best conversations that I had were with some SIDs the day before. Got a chance to really understand some of the challenges.
Oh, that was a great sidebar we had when it was about what you talking about. It was about 6 or 7 of us around that table in a lobby.
Yes. Get a chance to kind of talk with some schools regarding SWAC TV, the challenges that they have with being able to produce the broadcast that so many of you guys want to see. And to a common theme, I think the relationship that I'm always trumpeting about, hey, this relationship between the schools and the communications and the mass comm departments and that why don't we use that and why isn't that better? I learned that I may have to back up on my expectation or my pressure about that, because even though the opportunity is there, the schools and those mass comm departments, I don't want to go so far as say they're not seeing the athletic department as saying, hey, we have this great entity in our own backyard. We should be working with them. Look, the athletic department needs bodies. They need people to help. They need willing workers. The schools, though, what is their focus? Is it simply just teaching to teach? Or are they teaching to give and help these students get jobs in the industry and build their resume? And if it is the latter, then you got to be utilizing the school. You got to be going to the athletic departments and utilizing them and saying, well, what do our students need to know? Like, you could teach them 15 different things, but damn, if they're never going to use it, what are you teaching them?
In theory, you should learn the basics in the classroom, and the athletic department should be the lab. If you remember taking those kind of classes, Ryan,
yes,
you had to take the biology class, and then you had to take the biology lab.
Yes,
in theory, that's how it should work, but in practicality, Brian, it does not work like that on most campuses.
That's crazy.
And there are a lot of logistical challenges to that. One other thing, Brian, you talked about SWAC Media Day. The one thing that I enjoy uh, about SWAC Media Day that I had uh, the night Tuesday night, just hanging around all the coaches, all the different media members. I was at a different session, not session, but I was in a different area after we came back from dinner, Brian, and just hanging out with those guys and guys who are going to go to war against each other in a few weeks. Just out there, hair down, just relaxing, talking trash, talking some of them talking the same problem, some of them talking about how you got this one from me that I was recruiting, just all that kind of stuff, and relationships. Some of them with the same issues with athletic directors, and there were some athletic directors out there too, and some coaches talk about where how great their relationship is with their athletic director, and from guys who had been at the D1 level, comparing D1 to what we do on the HBCU level, and guys who had come up from D2 and NAIA to where they are now. Just listening to all those stories, Brian, and those who came from non-HBCU schools to be coaching over here now, all those type of stories, just great. And I'll never repeat those stories that I was out there, but I got a lot of information, and I'm a part of this space, y'all. Yeah. And I was still able to pick up a lot of information.
Hey, they were
out there listening to those people. And when I say those people, there were a good 25 of us out there.
Hey, and you say out there, y'all were outside.
Yes.
So, like, if you were one of those, let me just say this: if you were one of those TMZ reporters, you could have been sitting in a bush around the corner picking up all kinds of info. True. You know what I'm saying?
True.
If you were that kind of journalist, right? If you were a scooper like that, you would have found out all kinds of tea.
Exactly.
I will say though, I was a little envious when I saw the special customized SWAC Woodford. What was it? The Woodford Reserve. You know what I'm talking about. You saw somebody that we know got their hands on a bottle. And I saw and I was like, ooh, not the Woodford Reserve, customized special edition by the SWAC. Oh, okay, SWAC, do it. I wouldn't be mad if the SWAC made that available for limited consumption for fans and other folks, but I know it looks. Membership has its privileges. Being a VIP means something. So, but anyway, I think there's a lot of work that has to be done from an operations standpoint at a lot of our schools, and so these strides that are being made, one step in front of the next, we're not taking leaps. It's literally one step in front of the other, literally. And that's why it moves slower, because it ain't a jump, it's a step. So just understand that, folks. Just understand that. All right, the predicted order of finish, any surprises there, Drew?
Nah.
Again, there's the looks a little funky.
Although, put that one back up. Although personally, I think Alabama A&M is going to finish higher than 5th.
You think Alabama A&M is going to finish higher than 5th?
Yes.
Bethune
kind of bothers me in that number 3 spot because Bethune couldn't stop anybody last year.
No.
So unless they've found some answers on defense, that one bothers me sitting in the number 3 spot. Offensively, They return some pieces. They definitely can offensively, but I'm concerned about them defensively. Alabama A&M has their quarterback back, so that's why I expect Alabama A&M to finish higher. I think FAMU is the wild card.
Totally the wild card.
It's going to be interesting. Will FAMU go out and compete every week, knowing they cannot win the championship, or will they build this season in? We can say what we want to about Coach Gray. We know how great of a coach Coach Gray is,
I'm gonna stop you there.
but you're talking about 18 to 22-year-old guys who spend their time on one of these. That's why I worry about Florida A&M.
You can cancel that, Drew. I'm gonna correct you on that. That terminology, mailing it in, is not what's going to happen.
We saw them mail it in last year, so
no, they didn't mail it in. No, they didn't. No, they didn't mail it in. They didn't mail it. Drew, I'm telling you, I was there. I was there for every game. They didn't mail it in. They weren't coached up well. It wasn't. I'm telling you, facts over fiction, Drew. They were not coached up very well.
All right, let's go to the other side. Grambling there too is the shocker on this one, Brian.
I agree.
Grambling, I had a chance to talk to Coach Joseph, but Grambling's done the sum squad of 0 since Coach Joseph has been there.
Didn't they finish 7-5 though last year?
3 NAIA/Division 2 wins.
Which?
No, I'm sorry, Brian. I can't give you credit for those. I'm sorry, I cannot.
All right. Okay.
Texas Southern won game from the conference championship last year. They came within 1 point of beating Prairie View in game 1. They beat Prairie View. That was a whole different season for Prairie View and for Texas Southern last year. Them at 4, not quite sure. Alcorn won their last 4 in a row, if I remember correctly, 4 or 5 in a row.
They won until that Jackson State game. They lost the Jackson State game, which was the last game of the year. But prior to that, they had won 4 in a row.
Correct. Southern. No one knows what to expect from Coach Falk. And given the success that we've seen in year 1 coaches, Brian, Coach Falk this year could be Deshaun Jackson from last year. No one gave Deshaun Jackson any respect last year. He did not understand HBCU and what we better at media day. He did not understand the culture, everything else we said about Deshaun Jackson. Everybody was Team Vic. But who was 1 game away from being in the Celebration Bowl last year? Delaware State. Is that this year's version? Is Southern this year's team in that situation with the new coach who has an NFL background?
I'll tell you who I'm looking at. I'm honestly looking at Texas Southern. Now that they know where their home games are going to be played, we can really focus in on this team. I thought it was telling that they brought Coach Dishman brought the quarterback, I think McCoy. And although he wasn't a part of Texas Southern last season, he's been a part of the SWAC. And I think the fact that he came shows me that Coach saw enough from him in the spring that he can be very helpful for this team. I think, will Prairie View on week 0 be the team that Prairie View will be in week 8 or 9? No. So that's why I think, Texas Southern has an opportunity. They got a real opportunity to go to Prairie View, get a win, and open up their season the right way. And I think that could be a big boost for that program. Could be a huge boost for that program. And the only thing I'll say about Alcorn State is they were miserable in the first 4 weeks of the season last year. Can they? When I had Kelvin on a couple weeks ago or last week, he thought there's a realistic possibility they could start the first month 3-1. If Alcorn State start 3-1? If they can, it'd be real interesting to see what they do. So there you go. There's a few takeaways from SWAC. Any other? I will say best dress. Who were the best dress?
Hold on. Let's go. One last thing. Given Prairie View A&M's early season that they have, those 3 non-conferences that they had to start the season, 4th non-conference is down in the middle of the season. We could potentially see an 0-3 Prairie View coming into SWAC play. Question is, will they be healthy, even if they come in at 0-3 and still be able to win the SWAC?
0-3. Who's Prairie View's first 3 teams?
They've got
after they play Texas Southern.
They've got 2 FCS teams and another. They've got 2 FBS teams and an FCS team. I know Stephen F. Austin is one of them. I can't remember who the other ones are without looking it up.
They got an interesting quarterback battle. They've got 3 to 4 quarterbacks that they're going to look to try to see who's going to battle it out to be new QB1. I think that's always going to be challenging. So they start with Tarleton State, Stephen F. Austin. Okay.
And Baylor.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. That's why I say Texas Southern could realistically be 1-3 after September. Or possibly 0-4 if Texas Southern is able to get them.
Well, there's no warm-up before the Texas no, is there?
Yeah, there is. This is the first year that there is a warm-up, because usually that's a week 1 game.
Okay.
Both teams will have an opponent. Texas Southern plays Central
State.
No, North Carolina Central.
Oh, okay. That'll be an interesting game.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 2-2 at the worst. Okay. Interesting stuff. All right. Tuesday of this upcoming week is the MEAC Football Media Day. You can watch it live on ESPN Plus beginning at noon. I did see somewhere that the guys from the Pivot, which is if you've never watched or heard of the podcast or the show, it's Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Channing, former Florida linebacker, Channing Crowder, I think it is. So those are the 3 guys who make up the Pivot. They will, I guess they will hopefully be in a better position to talk about these schools than who was it? Shady McCoy.
Yes.
I hope they didn't invite him back. No offense to the brother, but
How many Hampton references did we get?
Jesus, man. It's like, really? There's only 6 schools here and only 1 with an H. And you can't get that right? And you out there talking about wanting a man's job? Jesus, help me. So hopefully that guy's not there anymore. But, I know Jay and Tiffany will be there. And this is year 2 of the Vic and Deshaun Jackson. But I think, what's fascinating is you got quality coaches outside of those 2 who got experience. Ted White, who was at Howard now. Ted's got some coaching chops underneath him. He's not he may be a first-time head coach, but he's been an assistant coach, I think, even at the FBS level. I think, played some professional, was a heck of a player in the MEAC back in the day. So that's helpful. Damon Wilson. Remember.
Is this a make or break year for him?
It'll be, you know what? It's interesting because 4 or 5 years ago, he was the king of D2 football, right? Here's the thing, Drew, with the success that I think this is, and this tells where Morgan State is from a athletic support group and administration and all that other stuff. What Chinnis Berry came in and did, what Tremaine Jackson came in and did, just 1 year removed coming out of D2. That's what Damon Wilson was supposed to do for Morgan State. Right? And now, so here's, and then you got Clint Gray, who Florida A&M's expecting to do what the last two big-time coaches who won a national championship. But if we think back to 3 coaches previously, it was Damon Wilson. Right? Will this be the, and we talked about how many games did Morgan have that they lost in the fourth quarter? I think it was at least 3 or 4. So I don't know what to expect from Morgan State. What can will Delaware State be as good? Given, they lost some guys, they brought in some guys. How good of a recruiter is Deshaun Jackson? I think that'll be if Delaware State has a similar good run, it'll speak to the recruiting chops of Deshaun Jackson and his staff, because he brought in some real talent a year ago. Norfolk State. Can Norfolk State just get to 500? I'm going to set the bar really low. We haven't even done the over-unders yet, Drew, but if I told you 4.5 wins, would you take it over or under? I mean, obviously, you got to look at the schedule.
Without looking at the schedule, I'm going to take the under.
Yeah. And I think that's where I may set that number too, 4.5. I got to look at their schedule and see what the models say. But I'd be shocked if the models show more than 5 wins this year for Norfolk State. I'd be shocked if it shows more than 5. Can anybody beat South Carolina State this year in conference? 2 years in a row, unbeaten.
Beat Chinnis Berry first loss in 5 years.
Damn. That's a heck of a run.
5.5 years, because he's won.
That's a heck of a run.
He won his last 2 or 3 the first year and went through the last 2 seasons in the SIAC undefeated and 2 seasons in the MEAC undefeated.
So 4 years of being undefeated
4
in
plus
conference play.
4.5 years.
4 full seasons of being undefeated in conference play.
Yes.
Wow.
Across 2 divisions and 2 conferences.
Jeez, that's a heck of a
Does he have a seat? Does he have a jacket waiting for the Black College Hall of Fame already?
Do you think there is a secret to look, I think at this point there is something that he is doing in his film study and preparation that really has to be examined. Like, he really seems to know these opponents really well. I mean, that you don't just out talent people like this to go unbeaten. I mean, sometimes luck catches you, Drew, right? Sometimes the ball just didn't bounce your way and the other team scooped and scored it.
A tip ball for a pick six.
A block kick turns into a tip. Some kind of luck prevents you from going unbeaten. They haven't been, I don't think they've been beaten by luck in these past 4 years, Drew. So you got to start to really examine this year and say, his preparation, and I hope that maybe people will ask these kind of questions as we get these conversations with Chinnis Berry. and don't miss me on this 1-0 stuff. Nah, man. Somebody asked the question, what is the preparation? Who is the, I mean, maybe he won't give away the sauce. Okay, but somebody still has to ask it. What's the preparation like of your opponent? Asking about luck. You being messy.
Hey, both teams could have won that game before they actually won it, right? Before South Carolina State actually won that game.
Exactly. Any other MEAC Football Media Day thoughts and questions that you have?
Let's see how many people go to Deep Jack this year instead of go to Vic. Because everybody was surrounding Vic last year. And will people forget about Chennis? You know, he pointed out in the Celebration Bowl post-game presser. He keeps receipts on who talks to him throughout the season. And one last one. Has everybody forgot that there's this guy named Trey Oliver who's a senior statesman of the MEAC still coaching in the MEAC?
Well, I mean, you're 0-2 against the new guy. I mean, he can beat everybody but the new guy. If I'm not mistaken, they've been 4-1 back-to-back years.
No, they were 3-2 last year. They lost to Delaware State last year.
That's Delaware State last year. Okay. So now you're losing to another new guy.
So if that's the case, following that trend, Central loses to Howard this year.
Oh, you said that, not me.
I've been saying that's the new guy.
You said that, not
Ted
me.
White's the new guy.
Well, be interesting to see. All right, how long does it go? From 12 noon until when?
Well, the media portion, we actually get in at 9:00, and we're able to get from 9 to 12, where you do your one-on-ones prior to the ESPN production, and then the ESPN production go on from like 12 to like 1:30 or 2:00.
Okay. All right. Well, that means we'll be looking forward. I know Doc usually does something live. He'll probably stream something live.
I'll be there with Doc.
Okay. So Drew will be there with Doc. This is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So this is Tuesday. So again, MEAC Media Day is Tuesday. SIAC Media Day is Wednesday. The date for the MEAC Media Day is Tuesday, the 21st. Tuesday, July 21st. And Wednesday, July 22nd is the SIAC Media Day. All right. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our show. Long show. Went a little longer than we planned. But hopefully we kind of set it up for you. And we'll go from there. Again, thanks to Sly, the sports guy, and Jamie Walker. Check out the SIAC Sit Down on YouTube, Instagram at SIAC Sit Down. They're part of the HBCU Game Day Network. And you can make sure you're following them on YouTube, Instagram, and go from there. Final thoughts, Drew, as we close out.
Man, I'm just looking forward to this, getting this last week of media days out. And then we get back into lion season once again. Lion season will officially end once we give these preseason All-Americans and all that kind of stuff out, because it's all a lie. It's all the fantasy at this point in time. Now, that's not saying we don't hope that our team does wind up being number one, or our favorite player is offensive player of the year, first team wide receiver, all that good stuff. But we're looking into a crystal ball right now, Brian. So it's just fun just speculating right now.
I'm going to look to see what we can gather from these two media days, and we'll kind of go from there. I got to do some post-editing on some of our shows. Come to find out, the BCSN Pod Zone running into a few hiccups with one of our commercials, so I got to kind of do some more clipping of commercials, just some craziness going on. Thanks, Spotify. But I do want to encourage you guys that most of the shows from our network are available on the BCSN Pod Zone, everywhere that you download and listen to podcasts. Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast. That's BCSN Pod Zone. Go check us out if you would. Go check us out. And do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button if you want to. We'd appreciate it. You can always donate to the show. You see the Cash App there on the screen, my JBN, my BCSN. Or if you're a member of the JBN online YouTube family, you can leave a super chat. You could leave a bucket in the collection plate is passed. Feel free to leave a cup of coffee. Just enough for a cup of coffee is all we ask. Any and all gifts are appreciated. So, Drew, safe travels to you and everybody heading up to Baltimore and then down to Macon. And I look forward to watching your guys' work. Make sure you guys stay locked in to the Black College Sports Network. You can see down at the bottom where you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all of those places. Thanks, everybody in the chat, for being a part of it. Great comments, great interaction by all of you guys. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week right here. Same time, same bat channel, right here on the Black College Sports Network. For A.D. Drew, I'm Brian Fulford. Thanks for watching tonight. Good night. God bless. Have a great week. We are out of here. Peace out.
Travel light, everybody. We'll holler.
You stay on hard.